It's the Bennington Show on a Tuesday, right before Snowcopolis or whatever the hell they're calling this one, the midwinter bomb. But we're supposed to get, in New York City, 17 feet of snow. Yeah, 17 feet.
That's too much.
It's not up to you. It's up to old man winter, who's putting up quite the struggle before he gives way to spring.
Who's this now?
But don't worry, the coconut saw her shadow, and that means several more weeks of Mai Tais. It's the Bennington Show. Tuesday, March 6th. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
It's everybody's birthday today. Literally everybody's birthday. I'm kind of feeling like Sam Nunberg these days. I'm just kind of frayed at the edges. I'm just a little crazy. You want to put me in jail? Go ahead. Put me in jail, bro. Don't bother me none. I got more time than money. I don't know whether everybody saw that on TV yesterday, but it shows that this place has gone straight up nuts.
Yeah.
Straight up nuts.
I mean, I was watching his interviews and he just went straight wildcat. Like he just was really losing it.
This was a guy who I guess worked with Roger Stone, so they worked with Trump. Did you get the Gmail I sent you today, Chris?
I did not.
You should have it on your Gmail or Google Mail account of Nunberg saying when he first met Trump. Did you get that?
I did not get that.
Weird. But needless to say, yeah. Here, all right. Watch this story here. We don't even have this up, but it's fascinating. We don't have the video.
Here it is.
All right. Just play the video. I'm not going to tell anybody anything.
First time I met Donald Trump, I was 5 years old at WrestleMania 5.
Jam-packed here in Atlantic City for WrestleMania 5.
Donald Trump invited the young Sam Nunberg right into the heart of the action.
It's going to be fun. I'll give Hogan a job in Hollywood. He can drive my limo.
We were sitting right behind Trump, and he had us move to the first row at another section. And it was actually funny because I ended up getting on the video for WrestleMania with my father. We were doing like the bushwhacker.
Boy, they've got a style all their own, Jess. You know, Gorilla, I noticed you the other night walking through the casino looking like that.
This is how nutty we've become. That the guy caught up in the Russia probe once did the bushwhacker strut.
Oh my God, that's too weird.
We're
just
all too weird.
Surreal.
Yeah.
And none of this makes sense anymore.
Do you think that this world died a long time ago and this is just some kind of weird...
It's like a video game. It's some sort of...
Well, there's people that actually believe that this whole thing is just a video game, that we're being... that somebody on the other side of the universe is doing it.
Is it a video?
I believe it's a little kid, like a weird little kid doing it. You know what I mean?
He's sick.
Yeah.
Ben.
He's a fucking mad dog. He's like a little fucking puppy killer. And then he's running this video of humanity. I'll just say this. If anybody can beat Trump in 20, Sam Nunberg.
I hope he comes out.
Fuck yeah, come out bushwhacking. Come out bushwhacking the whole goddamn way. It's like we always thought pollution would be a problem, but not the pollution of our own goddamn brains.
Yeah.
We're nuts. We are a fucking nation of hopped up car crazies.
And we are now accepting things as weird, and we're more and more comfortable with those things. You know what I mean? It's just like the more weird news that comes out, or the more bizarre things that happen with either politics or entertainment or robots.
Yeah.
We're just like, yeah, it's fucking weird, isn't it? And we're just okay with it.
Your aunt came in the other day, showed me a picture of a robot at the airport, and she goes, "Now, are these all over the city?" And I had never seen it before. And there was a robot who was just watching to see who comes in and out. It was going back and forth. It looked like kind of R2-D2.
Yeah, it's like a real life droid.
Here's what I'd want to say: if we replaced every flag in America, right, to something that just said "choke on this dick," right? Would anyone notice? And would some people stand and some people kneel? I don't think anybody would notice.
I probably would again, it would just be like, if I did notice, I would just go, I guess this is what we're doing now.
I saw this guy on TV this morning. He said that 1/3 of people born after 1980, 1/3, don't care whether we have a democracy or not. They don't even think democracy is even such a good idea. They basically think democracy doesn't work. Why don't we try just any kind of leader that just runs with the ball for a while?
Really? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that young people...
I think when if you see yourself as controlled, enslaved, right?
Yeah.
You don't care who the master is. You know what I mean? You don't care I see Jen nodding like, fuck yeah.
She's like, yeah.
Yeah.
We're like the fleas in the jar. Is that what it was in the jar? And the fleas keep bouncing, keeps hitting his head, and then he just gives up. And then you take the lid off the jar, and the flea just stays there.
What a fucking idiot.
I think
just
it's a
fly through the hole in the jar.
Can't imagine what else it would be. Frog?
You know what it was? An American eagle. I mean, it's a big jar. Oh, God. Chris has fucking carte blanche to sit there and work his thumbs, and he's driving me nuts. It's been a full 10 minutes. And he goes, I just need to do this thing, and it hasn't stopped in 10 minutes. And he doesn't give a shit what's happening.
He doesn't.
I mean, we just brought up switching the flag out with suck on his dick.
Yeah.
Choke on this dick.
Choke on it.
All right, Vito, do you care whether we have a democracy or not? Does it matter to you?
I like the democracy because then it's in everybody else's hands.
It would still be in everybody else's hands if you had...
The idea of the democracy is it's in the people's hand. The concept of democracy would be...
This is what's dumb about people born after 1980.
So democracy is power to the people.
I know, but I mean, it's in like your guys' hands, and I could just take a step back.
The step back is what the fuck is this whole thing that we're saying...
Yep.
This is what I hate about...
No, I thought you were wrong, and now I understand it. I said,
Jen,
hey, they don't think that.
Do you care whether we have a democracy or not?
I don't.
You could just have a big leader?
Yeah.
All right, let's suppose you could pick a leader right now to just run things. Do you have a special person?
Well, I mean, I like Obama, so I would pick him.
So
King Obama.
Barack Obama, you wouldn't mind making him leader for life. Because, by the way, Russia, they say, oh, we have elections, but they have a leader for life. And China's going to be the same way. Right. And those people, you don't see them revolting. They're just like, you know what? You ever hear the story about a flea in a jar?
We're the fucking fleas, dude.
Yeah, we're the fucking fleas.
I mean, everyone's like that except for Pussy Riot, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's 4 of them, and they're fucking hot and crazy.
Yeah, and then 2 of them disappeared. Like a couple weeks ago, 2 of them disappeared. And then, like, they finally found them, but, like, they had arrested them, and they weren't giving them information. They were really freaked out, but
I didn't even
they're
know
out
it was
now.
the same ones either. They had the hat down over their head. They look like Fat Albert's fucking friend. A couple eye holes in that hat. Let me tell you something. Forget the fleas. You ever hear the story of a frog who dreamed of being a king, and then he became one? Well, except for the name and a few other changes. You can look at me, and the story's the same one. Now, I'm not a man who likes to swear. I was doing a little Neil Diamond for everybody, who I think would make the perfect leader. What are you doing? What are you doing?
So grab the Neil Diamond song.
I think Neil Diamond would be the perfect... But then you didn't grab it after all?
I didn't think you wanted to.
Oh, God.
He just asked, what were you doing? God, stop what you're doing.
Chris.
Yes.
Do you need a democracy?
I don't need a democracy. At this point.
Don't?
No, at this point.
You know, I was going to go, this is not true.
Yes.
This can't be true. I'm interested in what you're saying, but I can't imagine this to be true. And now we're talking... Out of the 4 of us, 3 said yes to this.
And I'm dug into democracy. It's not even up to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I was indoctrinated as a fucking... I wasn't raised on the streets of Sesame the way you 2 fucking snowflakes were. Okay? I was raised in a place they called the hard streets. Our school colors, black and blue.
From fighting?
No, it was just a coincidence.
Low iron.
What'd you say?
Low iron. Bruise easily.
Is it something you have and that's
Yes.
why you know it?
He says he has low iron because he chews ice.
So you're telling me that you bruise easily? I
Very
wish you
easily.
didn't tell me that.
This little snowflake, I heard his feelings about 50 times a day. He wouldn't even grab the Neil Diamond because I fucking made fun of him for a second.
I didn't think you wanted
First of all, I want it. I dream of it. Now it's too late, Chris.
Okay.
What are you going to it now?
Okay.
So, yeah. Now, you're saying you do want democracy.
Yeah, but I thought almost like you. I thought that this is something that we're all comfortable with. I understand it's not a perfect system, and I don't think that we always, use it correctly. But I would like it to continue, and I would like us to do it well.
Yeah, we don't do it well.
I very much appreciate that I have the right to vote.
I got an idea. I mean, if we're not going to do this, rather than just giving it to Barack Hussein Obama, who wasn't born in this country, he was born in Kenya. He was born in Kenya to zebra parents.
Only in Kenya. Kenya.
Did you see that Trump lifted the ban on bringing back elephant tusks to this country?
No, he did not.
Yeah, look it
Just
up right now.
because his kids love to do that?
Well, about a year ago, when they brought it up, he goes, "No way, that's a fucking horror show." And now they said, we're going to look at it case by case to see who can bring back an elephant head. You know?
Tusk.
Don't tell me I can't keep it. Bum, 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 bum. You can put on Tusk and nobody would even remember to vote. How come you're not grabbing Tusk, Chris?
Yeah, of all the things.
Now, did you find the, what are you doing? Where's the other thing? Where's the article? The U.S. government will allow hunters to import elephant trophies on a case-by-case basis, breaking the president's pledge.
Well, doesn't that already defeat the purpose? Did someone already show up with an elephant head and they're like, hey, can I bring this in? Nope. And then you just junk it?
Yeah, there's a big giant trash can on the other side. Fuck it then. But, why elephant? Why not rhino head? You know what I mean? Why can't you kill a hippo?
Well,
or a small child? We're going to Africa to hunt for small children. It helps the village. We pay the village.
Yeah, I mean, one of those rhinos extinct. I don't know which one it was a couple years ago. Black or gray? I can't remember which.
Know. They all look the same.
But
if I'm going to be totally honest, I can't tell the difference between any two rhinos. You could have shown me a rhino when I was 5 and show me a rhino today, and I go, that's that same damn rhino. Saw that fucker at the zoo. Well, we'll see what the Daily Show has to say about this. I'm sure he's going to get a piece of whatnot. So that's what's happening in this fucking country, thanks to you people that don't care about democracy. Chris, did you even vote last election? You don't vote at all, do you?
I didn't vote last election, no.
I can't believe
Vito,
that.
you vote at all?
No, I
He's not
avoid jury
registered.
duty.
I get the letters from jury duty, I just don't answer them.
My system's better.
I feel like I'm talking to the two fucking Sam Nunbergs.
Oh my God.
I feel like I'm talking to the fucking Nunberg twins.
I mean, I've done the bushwhackers dance.
We all have. Okay? I did it one time with Mr. George Steinbrenner right next to me.
Really?
Yeah. This was many, many years ago. Steinbrenner was a big fan, like Trump was, of wrestling. And I was doing a radio promotion, so we were on the front row, and we were next to Steinberg, who lived in Tampa. And this is when kayfabe really wasn't broken, and he had a list of the winners, and he would just go like this. Keep your eye on Brutus Barber Beefcake. And Steinbrenner actually said to me, Vince is a genius. He goes, this is great entertainment. He goes, he's a genius. I go, well, you should go to a fucking Yankee game because you're every bit as nutty. You're fired. Don't you miss Steinbrenner as the fucking
The
Yankee?
Suns are so shitty.
They're low energy, to quote Donald Trump.
They're garbage. And George Steinbrenner
Trump hates
was
low energy.
so fun. Like, he was a fun guy. He was always in the newspaper talking some sort of shit.
Well, you say it was fun. We were furious, and I wasn't even a Yankees fan, and half the time I wanted to kill him. But he was, like Trump, entertaining. but not exactly fun, you know? Like Steinbrenner would say, yeah, I think we can bring back elephant heads on a case-by-case basis. What case is it okay? Oh, I run a museum of elephant heads. A zoo? No. I'm not going to feed those fucking things all day. Let the kids come in, throw baseballs at the elephant heads.
That seems reasonable.
All I know about the Suns is one of them smokes. That's the only thing I know about them.
What sons? Trump's sons?
No, Steinbrenner's kids.
Oh,
Jesus Christ! Yeah, that was a long time ago.
I feel like a man out of
That's the
time.
only thing you know?
That was a long time ago. All right, we got something. Oh, are we going to make our announcement?
Yes, we are going to make our announcements.
All right, let me hear the production.
It's coming. Here it is.
Just slow it down, Chris. Slow it down because you want to have a nice fucking thing. All right?
Here it is.
Here it is.
Here it is. Come on, be a fucking radio guy, dude.
This is the next Unmasked, everybody.
I'm not going to live forever. You're going to have to fucking be able to do this shit.
All right, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next guest on Unmasked, hosted by Ron Bennington, is a Daily Show correspondent and the host of This Is Not Happening on Comedy Central, Roy Wood Jr.
Now, Roy Wood Jr., very, very funny man. And also, I'll say Chris Stanley's second favorite comic after Tom Segura.
Oh, me and Roy Wood, I feel like we're close. Like, we've texted a lot in the past, and I just love Roy Wood. And seeing him do Taking Care of Business during the Comedy Jam.
I don't want to take it away from Roy Wood Jr. in any way, but it does seem like that's how he chooses comics, is the closeness.
Yes. Yeah. There's no doubt about that.
You're also friends with Doug Benson's great. And Judah Freelander. All people I text with.
You just like people that you text with.
Well, it seems like they actually know who I am, which is nice.
I would like to see Anthony jump into that. Nick DiPaolo knows who you are, and he worries about you.
Yeah,
I know.
he's concerned.
He brings up my weight.
He worries about your health. He thinks you're going to have a massive heart attack.
I think he's just fat shaming me.
It doesn't have to be fat shaming. He can shame you for any number of reasons. But by the way, this isn't the way to promote Roy Wood.
No, it's not. This is Roy Wood Jr. Unmasked. That's happening Thursday, March 15th at 12:25 p.m. here at the SiriusXM studios. You go to theterrabang.com for a chance at free tickets.
What's the date again?
Thursday, March 15th.
Are you telling me that you believe that Roy Wood Jr. is going to be taking care of business that day?
He will be TCBing on Thursday, March 15th.
It's going to be a fun one.
I'm taking care of business. We just had in the guy who wrote that song.
Mr. Randy Bachman.
Yeah. And Randy Bachman claims that Elvis loved that song so much that he made the TCB thing his logo. And he was always telling his guys, don't forget, man, you got to take care of business every day when I'm away. And he did. He would give out TCB
That's so
fucking
funny.
rings and shit to people. And yet he never covered the song.
Yeah, you'd think that. Well, maybe he just was like, it's perfect the way it is.
I don't think he could identify with the phrase, I get up every morning at alarm clock warning. I don't think Elvis ever knew where an alarm clock was.
Red was his alarm clock warning.
Red. If you ever fucking come in here before noon any day, I'm going to karate flip you right away. How many times did I karate flip you, Red? Is that right? 1,600 times? It's going to be 1601. Now, Red, what's the story on the Saligo refrigerator? Have we looked into that? 'Cause I don't want to go down for peanut butter and jelly. Or what do you have, peanut butter and nanas, and look at some damn aluminum refrigerator. King was a gold. One time he sent his fucking plane back to just load it up with peanut butter and nana sandwiches and flew it back to him in Vegas.
That's great.
The plane landed, yeah. I'm high as a fucking cat. Give me the peanut butter and nana. Hire some girls to come in here in schoolgirl clothes and wrestle on the floor. King likes to see panties. He used to make the girls wrestle because he's seen it when he was a little kid. He saw two girls fighting, so he saw their panties.
Mhm.
So he wanted that over and over for the rest of his life.
Really?
That's the king's freak.
It's kind of a sweet one though. Like there's innocence to that too.
Yeah. But then he pissed all over him.
Oh, never mind.
Stand for the king, piss. He was just fucking eating pills and a peanut butter and while he's taking a piss. Red had to stand behind him and prop him up. He was falling backwards. Don't let me drop, Red. Don't let me drop. Bring me a suitcase full of diamond rings, would you, Red?
For what?
Count them. Count them for the king. Now it's time for the king's speech. All right, we got this sent to us. And I'm going to ask you non-voting. Jen, do you vote?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You just vote. Did you ever get a chance to vote for Obama?
No. I only voted for Hillary.
Hillary.
Yeah.
You lost that vote, didn't you? This is from Mike. Mike 69.
Get
it? And he writes, not sure if you're going to read this, Ronnie B. Question for you. Can a baby and non-speaking toddlers see ghosts / spirits? I am sure you have watched a baby wave and talk to someone who isn't there. And see if the listeners have any stories. So I'll put this. I don't know if anybody else has ever done this. All right, 844-ROCK-GOD, 844-ROCK-GOD. And this is the question. Did you ever see a baby who acted like they had been somewhere before? Here's my weirdest story. First of all, Gail was weird as shit. I don't even think I'm going to go into her stories. But she acted like she had a friend. That was a champagne telephone, champagne bottle telephone.
What?
They were very big at the time that you could get, like when you would get footballs from, So this one was champagne. I think it was my mother-in-law that had it. And she would call it Goey and say that it was her friend. Well, she had a lot of toys, but she would sit and talk to this thing and say, hey, Goey, and I've known Goey before, a long time ago. Stuff like that. So Gail was nuts when she was little. We just went with it. But your cousin, Irene, right? So Irene's got to be like 4 at the time. And we were at this like Denny's we were all traveling on the road. And she's looking over at this little kid. And her and this little kid start waving at each other. Now, she's 10 states away from where she lives, right? Kids waving back. We're like, what are you fucking doing? Right? We're trying to have breakfast. She goes, that's my friend from a long time ago.
What?
And stop saying, just let the story play out without being a hype man. Where was I? Oh, that's my friend from a long time ago. We're like, well, you're only 4. You don't have a friend from a long time ago. The mother gets up like 20 minutes into this and says, this is odd, but my daughter claims she knows your daughter from a long time ago. Where are you guys from? She lives in a different state, blah, blah, blah. These 2 kids never stop looking at each other. And all of us, the 2 families, were fucking totally weirded out. Now, I'm not claiming anything. I'm just telling you, I was there for that story. It happened just the way I said.
So weird.
Why would a kid think they know somebody from a long time ago?
And why would they both have the same thought? Like, then you could go, oh, the kid's weird. I don't know why she said something like that. But the fact that they both were feeling that same strange connection.
And never did it before or after. Just that one morning, I believe in a Denny's, but I'm not, one of those type of restaurants.
That is so peculiar and so strange. Because it seems like you could even start to go, oh, well, maybe it looked like someone that she thought it was someone that it wasn't. But the fact that they both have that weird thing is too creepy.
Yeah.
It's too weird.
Now, do you remember why you thought Goey was your...
That I was so young that I can remember
2.
I can remember what Goey looked like.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking that Goey could talk to me, which
Scary.
was strange because it was a telephone. So if you think about it, like I was calling it Goey, but what if I was really like, it was a vessel for communication, which is really creepy. Yeah. Like you're thinking, oh, she thinks this.
And it wasn't a plugged in telephone.
Right.
I mean, no one is going to have a fucking champagne. It was a present of some kind.
Right.
No one's going to plop in the champagne bottle fucking telephone. But start talking on it.
Yes. In my mind, I could hear a voice through it, which was weird. And I could have been, now I don't remember specifically because I was 2, so I have very spotted memory of, I remember what it looked like and I kind of remember. But yeah, it's weird if you think it's a vessel. Now, I have a lot of weird, all my cousins had different weird, imaginary friends or things. But this is one that is specific to the question of ghosts or spirits.
Right.
That my little cousin, and, toddler age, just talking, just saying words, but not full sentences. My great grandmother had just passed away. Now, I wasn't present for this story, but all of my family who were there that day tell this story. So my little cousin was there. My grandmother had passed away, the day or 2 before. It was like around the time of her funeral.
Yes.
Everybody's sitting around the table. And all of a sudden, he puts his arms up and looks in the corner and starts saying, Nana, Nana, and putting his hands like, pick me up. And everyone is just staring and looking. And he's looking.
Too young to know that anybody died or anything
exactly.
like that.
He doesn't understand that. But his eyes are fixed on a point in the corner. And he's putting his arms up and calling Nana and doing his hands like, pick me up. You're right there. Pick me up. And everyone is like, what the hell is going on? It was a very chilling moment for all of them. Yeah. And they shared it as being like, I don't know what, could you figure out?
Could it just been Mr. Red Apple, the ghost?
That's what I have to also say. This kid was weird in a lot of ways. I mean, he also had a lot of creepy ghost type, like things that sounded like a ghost. He had someone that he could see that he called Mr. Red Apple. And he would see him when he was visiting my other aunt's house, which was not at his home. Yeah. Mr. Red Apple lived at her house. And so one day they were trying to talk to him and say, well, does Mr. Red Apple talk to you? And he's like, yeah. And they said, well, what does Mr. Red Apple say to you? And he goes, psst, psst, come here, kid. You want an apple? What the fuck is that? Yeah. Like, that is horror story. Like, that is so, like, he dropped his voice to a sound that they're like, never heard him make. Too creepy.
Now, I'll just say this, though. His mother drank very deep into the pregnancy. Like, really right up until contractions. And that could have something to do with it.
Now, here's what I think is interesting with Mike's point. You're saying, okay, is there some sort of veil that gets lifted? He doesn't see things now. He doesn't talk to people now. He's an older kid. He doesn't see anything. But why, when he was that age, is it imagination or is it something weirder than that?
There's a thing that the Japanese say, and it's something like water babies or something like that, where they believe that the spirit world flows in and out all the time, right?
Yeah.
And the youngsters haven't kind of let go of it all the way. And then that the elderly can pick it up at their end of life. And it kind of, if you were open to that, makes a little sense because, older people, well, why does this happen? I think everybody has had that thing of an older relative when they're on their deathbed sees their brother who died a long time ago or their parents or an old friend, right? They are saying, And it always scares you because they're like, you know who was here last night? It's Uncle Charlie. You're like, okay. See, you know what I mean? Like, you're trying not to freak them out. But why don't they ever see living relatives?
Right.
You know, they're like, oh, you know, it was here. My cousin from Boston stopped in last night.
Right.
Then you can say, well, you were on drugs.
That's very true.
That, you know, like, we will just call it imagination, obviously. But you don't, you know, you don't fucking know.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, there's really...
it could be Mr. Red Apple coming in. And that person that they told Mr. Red Apple, that Mr. Red Apple could be following them now.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca, what's up? Yeah. You're in the air.
Yeah.
Go ahead, start talking. Yeah.
Okay. We took our granddaughter in at 8 months old.
Yeah.
And around the time she was 3, she said to my dad, or to my husband, you were my grandfather in a past life in the cave days. And you saved me from being eaten by a bear.
Now, how old was she?
3.
How would
in
she
the
know?
cave days.
Yeah, cave days.
In the cave days.
At 8 months old, she took right to him, and most kids didn't do that with him.
No,
but
nobody.
She was like right to him, like.
But she owed literally owed his life, her life to this guy.
Right.
Now, did she ever bring it up again, or did it just start to stop?
Nope, that was the end of it.
Yeah.
It never really got discussed again, but yeah. So I just thought I was kind of curious with the topic today. So.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's a topic, but it's weird.
Spirits, so weird. Past lives, that kind of connect it all together.
844 Rock God, 844 Rock God. Mike 69 came up with this one. Gordon, South Carolina.
Hey guys, first, I love these stories. These things are always fascinating. But when my son was born, 6 months, he was about 6 months old. My grandparents had both died a few years earlier, within about 6 months of each other, and their house always had this very distinct smell of perfume and cigarette smoke. Neither my wife nor I smoke. You know, my wife doesn't wear perfume. And as I say, my son was about 6 months old, and I walk into his room, and I was just overwhelmed by the smell of my grandparents' house. Like, it was my grandparents' house. And I always... It was always
you just gave Gail, Gordon, you just gave goosebumps, and she's fucking freaking out right here.
God.
But maybe they stopped in the visit.
Oh my God,
that's exactly what I've always thought. Yeah. It wasn't. There was no fear or anything. It was a really cool thing. So anyway, keep up the good work, guys.
One time, I guess it was like after a great grandmother died or something, and I was just old enough to be afraid of all that. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, there's death in my life.
Right.
And then people were like, I saw a sign. You know how people would say they saw signs and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And it made me scared. And I'm like, I don't, you know, to my mom, like, could I sleep in here or something? She's like, no. And I'm like, but I'm scared about that thing. And she goes like this. She goes, what are you scared about? She loved you before. She loves you still. She comes around, you're fighting with her. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's a good point. She's not going to come back
She's just like,
with a whole different personality.
I'm mad at you if I'm dead.
And then I just said, okay, well, I'll sleep right here outside the door.
Just in case.
John in Texas. John, what do you got?
I grew up Mormon. I'm no longer Mormon. I don't have anything to do with the faith. But when I was a kid, I had and my little sister, she was probably like 3 or 4 at the time. And when we would pass like the Mormon temple, any Mormon temple you'll notice has the little golden man blowing a trumpet.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then, the name of that statue is Moroni. And she would point to it. I mean, before she'd ever been to a temple or anything, but she'd point up to that and she'd say, I know him. That's my friend. And then she would go, his name is like the M sound. She never pronounced Moroni or anything. But it was one of those things that was kind of like, I don't know, as creepy as it was interesting.
I know Mormons believe that you go on to get your own planet to be a god of, but did they believe in past lives?
Yeah, you are alive in what they call the predestination. So you're alive, and actually, the predestination kind of determines a lot of very strange things, like whether you're going to be white, for example, because white people are seen to be, or at least, you know, I mean, they're not going to like say this in your church.
Yeah, don't say this in front of Jen.
Basically,
But they didn't even like recognize blacks until like the 1970s or something, right? Mormons were
That's
like,
right.
It was like
almost the mid 70s, late 70s.
Yeah.
But no, blacks weren't allowed to like hold priesthoods, or I mean, there's still a lot of those things. It's just kind of gone underground because the church wants to just be about family now,
right?
Instead of weird
Moroni, right?
Moroni is the statue, but it was one of those trippy things because she would point up and say, "He's my friend. I know him. I know him." And
Moroni.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Kind of creepy.
A friend of mine, when we were a kid, he was a Mormon, and I went to his church or tabernacle, whatever you call it. And when they were singing, it was like this. My Moroni, my little one, my pretty one. When you gonna give me some time, Moroni? Never let it up, get it up. Whatever happened to that band? Mike in Virginia. Mike, you're on the air.
Hey, Ron. Hey, Gail. Hey, Chris. How's everyone doing?
Hello.
Good. When my daughter was 3, she and I were walking through the woods looking for a Christmas tree, and she started singing a song that I didn't recognize or understand. So I asked her, where did you learn that song? Did you learn it at school? She goes, nope, not at school. Well, did you learn it from the TV? Nope, not TV. She didn't have any friends. So she was, we used to sing this all the time. I said, who? Oh, everybody. Me, my granddaughter, everybody. Right before they killed us. We used to sing it every day, and then they came and they just killed everybody. Me, my granddaughter. I was old before I was young.
And you were like,
holy shit.
Who, the Cossacks?
That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me. I got chills right now talking about it.
Oh my god.
Did you ask her how she was killed, or you're just like, I'm going to ignore this?
No, I was freaked out. I was left her in the woods.
Chills again?
Yes,
Chill bumps?
again. Oh my god.
By the way, during that, Jen just goes, what?
What?
Do you believe in any past life?
I do, yeah. I do.
Chris?
That was just weird.
I feel like there's past lives.
But you don't believe in God.
No, maybe it's something else. I don't know.
Is there a scientific explanation for it?
I don't think God would have anything to do with it. But maybe there's like life force that finds, I don't know, babies or whatever and jumps into them.
Okay, so that's a pretty spiritual thought.
It is a spiritual thought.
That's
it's not the Bible, but it's spiritual.
Because you just use the phrase life force, which is the idea of a soul of some sort.
Do you believe that you're your body or no?
No, I think there's some sort of energy inside my body that's embodying.
That's you?
That's me, yeah.
That's the alcoholic gambler?
Yes.
I believe I've gambled throughout.
That would be really funny if like he had to do like someone that goes through all of his past lives, but all of them like he was a degenerate. Every single one.
I always believe that we have to come back through all the lives until we've really embraced all the sins. Okay? So if this life that you're gentle and nurturing, you got to come back and just try to either become a drug addict or an alcoholic.
All right.
Or, I mean, I would always recommend Speed Freak because you're going to start hallucinating in ways you can't on acid. Hi, you're on the air. Who's this?
Hey, Gail.
Who's this?
This is Mr. Red Apple.
No!
But you see what I'm saying? You come back until you get all the sins, one after another. Hey, Keith in Ohio. Keith.
Good afternoon.
Hey.
Honey.
Yeah.
I had, my wife was acting as a guide at one of the local metro parks. And they would bring out the kindergarten, first grade classes and whatnot. And one young man came up to her in the parking lot. He says, "Hi." He says, "You remember me?" And she says, "No." And pretty soon he ran off, and they get to the next stop along the trail and whatnot. And he comes up and he's tugging on her. And he says, "Don't you remember me?" He says, "No." She says, "Did I? Did your parents go to church or?" And she mentioned a couple of things. He says, "No." And so they go on a little bit further, and they go to the next stop, and he says, "Don't you remember me?" And she says, I just really don't remember you. Were you here last year?" "No." And they get to the end of the trail, and he comes running up to her in the parking lot. He says, "Don't you remember me?" And she says, "I'm sorry, honey, I just don't." And he says, "Don't you remember?" He says, "You were the angel that stood next to me in heaven."
Weird.
Yeah, that was a weird one. It sounded like a joke.
Yeah, I know.
Don't you remember me?
Yeah.
I'm like, where is this going?
I know. It's like, what setup is this?
Yeah. Vicky in Brooklyn.
Hi, guys. When I was 5 years old, my grandmother came to me. She was laying in my bed. She was dressed in a beautiful red gown. I got nervous. I wasn't scared, but I was nervous. Something about me was nervous. And I ran to my mom. And then the next day, my mom got the call that my grandmother had passed away. And at her funeral, she was wearing that same red gown.
Now, Vicky, are you an Italian?
No, Puerto Rican.
Okay, because Puerto Ricans too. The island people and the Italians always believe, they will say that somebody came to them at the point of death. It happened to a kid that I grew up with whose dad died. That he felt like he had seen his dad and then was heading there, and his dad had passed.
Wow,
a little before that.
I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it again. Like
I know.
I wasn't scared, but I was just like, something about me felt uneasy. And I was only 5 years old, and my grandmother was everything to me. And then the next morning, my mom got the call that she had passed away.
Yeah. Well, maybe it was your fault. I don't know, Vicky. Now, thank you so much for calling. Now, why, if this didn't happen, would Vicky say it? When you hear all these stories, right? Yeah. There's nothing in it. You know what I mean? Like the story that I told about my niece seeing another little girl from across a restaurant, and they kept waving, and they said they knew each other, and they had never even been in the same state before that day. I gained nothing from that story, but I'm telling you, I was sitting there. Right. You know what I mean? I have no extra beliefs because of this. You know what I mean? It didn't even change my life. I'm just telling you, I fucking saw something I can't explain. And I do, and I have heard different stories like this before. Let's go over here to Chuck. Chuck, what's up?
Okay, so it seems like this imaginary friend thing. There's no way these kids could be communicating and say, let's pull a prank on everybody. This happens all over the world. And what if these imaginary friends are actually these children's guardian angels?
Yeah, I mean, that seems like a simplistic way of looking at it. That
it's like a Drop Dead Fred scenario.
I didn't see that. Was it good?
So good.
Yeah.
Really good. But basically, all of the imaginary friends are real.
Chris, did you have anything like this before?
There was someone. My parents told me there was someone called Wawa I would talk to. Fucking thing.
You you're hungry.
I didn't know Wawa existed until much later.
Well, imagine that was the weird thing, is that he was just like, I said I wanted Wawa, but I didn't even have Wawa in New York.
That was like my friend that I would talk to as a child, and it weirded them the fuck out. And then there was also someone called Mr. Bad Hand.
That was your dad.
You put the bad hand on your penis? Is that where it went?
I might have blocked that out.
Dude, if my kid says to me, Mr. Bad Hand was here, I'm investigating that situation. That one I'm taking pretty seriously.
Well, Chris also lived in a neighborhood of Mr. Bad Hands. It was the most common name. Oh, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, it's creepy. Especially Wawa.
How about you, Vito?
I have one that's weirdly similar to Gail's, where I had an imaginary friend named Goody my whole childhood that a payphone on the corner of my street was the only way I would communicate with Goody.
Don't you think that's kind of weird? Goody and Goey?
Way weird.
And they're both coming through the phone?
Yeah.
And it was on my payphone, and the payphone's still there, and I think of it every time I pass this, but he lived in heaven, specifically. And I used to, every day on my way to school, I would go into the phone booth and pick up the phone and be like, I have to talk to Goody.
You're that age that you're going to school?
Yeah, like
high school?
Yeah.
Oh, you're nuts then. I was a baby. I was 2 years old.
Yeah, no.
I was like 2-3 years old.
How long did you talk to Goody?
Probably until like first or second grade.
Oh my God.
And I used to like hold and then my mom got sad when it ended, and I was like,
yeah, I would be a little
that is
too.
sad, yeah.
But every
He's
day,
like, Goody's not real.
Yeah, every day I had to talk to Goody.
What'd you talk about?
His dick, balls, asshole.
Wasn't like wasn't Goody a name almost like saying like Mrs.? It was like a formal name. Like I'm talking like early American time or even in England. Like I know it's like
Goody.
It's like Goody Proctor, like something like that.
Know that.
Yeah.
Maybe you were talking to Sam Goody. Were you ordering any kind of stuff?
Like a stereo?
It was more of a Tolerette.
Electronics of any kind?
Well, Goody was an egg. He was shaped like Humpty Dumpty.
What?
Yeah.
All right. Goey makes way more sense than
hold on.
Goody.
Do you know how many religions have talked about the orb, the magic orb? And of course, you know what the egg is in pagan religion. It's a rebirth. It's what?
Fertility.
Spring, fertility.
Life.
Yeah. And were you like, hi, Goody, don't crack, Goody? I have something of Vito's. I'm going to put it up right now on our Instagram and Twitter. You girls haven't seen this yet. And I'll just say like this. Please brace yourselves.
Okay.
Brace yourselves. Chris, let me know when it's up, okay?
Will do.
Eric in South Carolina.
Yeah, man. So, my son, I was sitting on the couch, and my son was playing on the floor in front of me, and then he like looked above my head, and he was like pointing to where the wall and the ceiling comes together, and he was going, look. So I turn around and look, and there's nothing there, and then he's moving his finger like it's moving across the wall, so I'm thinking it's like a moth or something. And I'm like, what is it, bud? Like, I don't see anything. And he goes, it's the man. Do you see the man? And I was like, what? And I'm looking around, and there's no pictures or anything on that wall, just some windows. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What's he look like? And when I said, what's he look like, my son pulled his lower eyelids down, like with his fingers, and like opened his mouth and was just looking at me all creepy. And I was like, that's what the man looks like?
No.
And then I was like, yeah, I started looking at the ceiling, like, what the hell is going on here? Yeah. So I don't know. And he never saw him again, because I asked him, you know, I'd get weirded out at night or whatever. It's before bedtime. I'd ask my son, be like, hey, have you ever seen that man again? And he was like, no. So.
Thanks.
Yeah.
All right, I want you guys to be careful to see this picture. This is a picture of Vito. How old were you, Vito?
I think 10.
10. He was in the paper for this. Bring it up. That's Vito as a little kitty cat.
Oh my God, Vito.
Please go to our Twitter, Vito Calise 10. And another little girl, I'm not going to give her, you know, she has it right. But Vito was a little scary kitty cat with his little cat whisker. Who painted your face like that, Goody?
I was auditioning to be in a Meow Mix commercial.
Oh,
meow, 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 meow. How did they not fucking pick that cute kid?
I don't know. It was
dude. He is so cute there. I can't stand it. I know that's a kid who like should be a child star. Like, how are you not Manny right now? You should be Manny.
I should be. I mean, it was one of those like American Idol type things where you lined up. They grabbed me from the camp and they were like, you should go audition for this. And then they threw me in. But I torched the audition because they had a guitar there. And they were like, if you know how to play guitar, try it out. And I just thought I could wing it. and I ruined the.
That would have made me pick you even more. A fat kid with a cat face who thinks he can play guitar, but he can't.
That is too
That's
cute.
adorable. That's something that Goody would get into trouble if we did Goody the TV show.
The little girl's not living the bit like I am. She's not into the cat face
No
thing.
one could.
No, you're selling it.
I'm a cat.
Oh my God. You barely look different.
Dude, I would just like to suck on those plump titties. You were so cute. How did your mom ever stop hugging you?
She did.
Did she overhug you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would too. Here's Brad in Virginia. Hey, Brad.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Cool, man.
Good. So, like, my first daughter gets born. Her middle name, she's named after my wife's grandmother. My wife's grandmother died 2 weeks before she was born. We bring her home from the hospital. She's almost inconsolable all the time, except when you lay her down to go to sleep. You lay her down to go to sleep, you can hear over the baby monitor this song being sung. We got nothing going on. There's no radios going on. There's nothing else going on. And it's my wife's grandmother's voice. You can actually hear, and she goes right to sleep. So that goes on for like a month. We go in there. We even unplug the baby monitor from inside the baby where she is. You can still hear it coming over the speaker in the monitor in our room. It was kind of, it's just one of those like, okay, that's a sweet, sort of. But I swear, I think it was my wife's grandmother coming back and singing to her for her first month of life.
And the song?
It was actually one of the church songs she used to love to sing.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the song right now.
All right, peace. Rick in Michigan.
Yeah, Ron. I was a state police detective sergeant. I worked afternoons. I got home about 11. It was the night that Gary Shandling first guest hosted for Johnny Carson. So I'm laying on the couch watching it, and clear as a bell, I hear my grandma say my name, Rick, twice. I'm like, what the? So I got up, walked over to where our bedroom is, and asked my wife, did you just call my name out? She said, no. So the next morning we get up, and I'm telling her about it at coffee. And right after I tell her, my mom calls and tells us that at 11:30 when they're watching Sanford and Son, my grandma dropped out of a heart attack, which would have been the same time that Shandling was doing his stand-up there. And I never would believe that this happened except for the fact I told my wife about it before my mom called. And as far as Chris goes, Chris, I think it's quantum physics as it is. I don't believe in religion either, but I think quantum physics is what happens to us.
Do you think that our personality or our spirit goes from place to place? You think that's part of? So if that would happen, right, there would be a purpose to us. You know what I mean? That we wouldn't just be this freak of the universe. We would be here for a reason of some kind.
I don't know. I got a feeling that when we go on to the next place, we're going to be very disappointed because it's not going to be like heaven. It's going to be like this again. And like, shit,
Yeah, but there'll be more technology. You know what I mean? There'll be definitely more technology. I think it would be so painful to realize that you were an infant again and we're going to go through everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't be bad if you were born at, let's say, you just found yourself in a 17-year-old's body, you know? But to be that baby again and know, like, oh,
yeah,
all the physical shit that I got to do.
Everything.
You know?
I'm not in control of my life for many years.
Yeah.
And the decisions I make.
My fucking baby teeth are killing me. They're just pushing through my gums.
I gotta go through puberty again and fucking middle school.
Ugh. And fucking raising your hand when you already know that you're an ancient fucking being. You gotta ask someone if you could take a piss. And they're putting fucking little kitty cat whiskers on you. You're like, why can't I keep my weight down?
Oh, that kitty cat.
Should ate cat food for the audition. Look who got you in.
So is that what? No, that would be a little weird, kid. Chris. Meow, 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 meow. Chris, so you believe that your spirit has been in other bodies, right?
Yes.
And what would the purpose of that be?
That I don't know. I feel like maybe like, all right, so maybe like a human's life, energy, force, spirit, soul, whatever. It's like infinite. Like it never goes away. So it latches on to to different life forms, so it needs to find a place.
Hi, Scientology.
So I'm talking about thetans.
But do you think that, let's say, animal energy or animal spirit does the same thing, or do you think that we are unique beings in this universe?
I think we're unique beings.
You don't
I don't think like a dog spirit will latch on to another dog.
I think birdies will.
Why? I mean, what is it so wonderful about you? The ability to think?
I think, the ability to think, and we're higher.
It's not that impressive. I don't think it's that impressive how far we've got over the animals. You know what I mean?
We got into space. Animals are still just like banging each other.
But they don't need to. You're looking at distance.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting into space, we haven't gotten that far. You know, so at most we got what, 10, 15 miles above
about
a bird. I know people are like, "Oh, you're supposed to learn things and move on." If that was true, you would you would have the knowledge from your last life.
Right, exactly. You have to learn everything over
Who's
again.
that rock star over there with Sandra?
Let me see. I don't see.
What's the story with her?
She's a host here.
Yeah.
Oh, so she's not
No.
okay.
She just page 6.
Is that Bridget?
I
I thought
don't
it was
know.
Bridget.
For
It looks
some
like the dye of
reason,
her hair.
why do we have this fucking curtain up today?
They take pictures sometimes and they pull it.
Well, it doesn't stay that way, does
Oh, look. Looks like they were trying to cover all the garbage.
it? Oh my god!
They were just like, they have all this storage and they use that to cover
The
it.
halls are storage. It's great.
I think that was Bridget who just walked by.
Our producers are great, aren't they? Ew, ooh. All right, hold on. Here's David in Atlanta.
Hey guys, first time, long time.
Hey, pal.
How you doing, man? The reason I was calling is I'm calling for Chris that said he doesn't believe in God, and I have actually had proof that something does exist. I'm not saying it's God. I'm not saying it's anything, but I'm saying that I've been there. I got stabbed when I was 15 years old, and I died twice. The second time I died was for 12 minutes, and I lost all brain activity, all lung activity, and all heart activity, which means I was completely dead. I came out of it with a memory of all these people around me, billions of people around me, just screaming, "Help me, help me, help me." And the closest thing that I can think of that it would be is kind of a purgatory thing. You know, like they were like trying to, like, you know, help me get out of here. And so, I mean, and I've had other experiences. One time I am Catholic, and I was praying very deeply, and I was like, "God, if you've got what you've got, you give me everything." And I was struck down for 3 hours. I couldn't move. I couldn't speak. I mean, I just literally laid on the couch, and I just could not move. And I was hoping my sister didn't come out of the other bedroom because I couldn't explain what was going on because I couldn't move. So, Chris, I love you, man.
I love you.
And, yeah.
Then help him. Help him.
There
Help
is
him.
something out there, man. There is something out there. I'm not saying it's God or whatever it is, but whatever
Maybe just a
you got to
man.
find.
Like a really not nice man.
Like a wizard?
I mean, I know some. I really, if anything else, I believe in Mr. Red Apple.
That's fucking real.
And I believe
I
he's
know
gonna-
that.
He's going to get the aunt of whoever had that house. Carrie in Georgia.
Hey, I was telling you about my son. His great grandmother died when he was about 1, and at 2.5 to 3, he had a couple different conversations with her. One was he was on the hood of the car, and with my mother-in-law, and he said, "Why's Nana on the hood?" She said, "I don't know. Invite her in." So he invited her in, had a 30-minute conversation with her.
And how old was he?
He was 2.5 to 3. He had a couple different conversations with her.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So she loved him. She was in his life for his first year.
Man.
So you never know.
Thanks. I mean, story after story, and why would anybody make it up?
I know. It's interesting because there's two types. There's like connecting to someone who is past, and then there's the past life connection.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like, it's just weird. If it is possible, do you think that just the veil is just super thin? You're just receptive, and then you close off.
There is, and I've researched this, every religion that you can think of. From deepest Africa, China, Asia, Muslim, Jewish, even pagan, Mormon, Christian, they all believe one thing. That you will have no soul at all if you're from Trinidad. And I always wondered why that is, you know? You would think that they would have a soul too.
Jen!
What do you mean, but Jen?
She's from Trinidad.
Oh, Jesus, no. I'm sorry, Jen, this is it for you. Do you believe in eternal life?
Yes.
You almost went to no and then you said yes.
Yeah.
That's very interesting to me.
Something I feel wishy-washy on, that's for sure.
You believe in past life?
Yes.
Okay. You seem like you believe in past life more than future life.
Yeah. I would say past life.
Do you believe that you had a past life experience?
I haven't.
Yeah.
No. But my sister and my mom has. So.
What did your sister and mom?
Oh, my sister, it was when, I don't remember how old she was, but it was when my grandpa passed, and she saw him like, I guess like before he was about to die, but she like saw him above my aunt when she was praying on the bed.
Wow.
Yeah.
How old was your sister?
I don't remember.
16,
Yeah, probably would have been like 6. No, like 6 or 7. Yeah.
Your sister seems like she's, because I know she's more into the island stuff than you.
Yeah. She's a little more gypsy-ish stuff, I would say.
What's it called?
Gypsy. She's a little more of a gypsy.
Gypsy? I didn't even know that was that part of the world.
Gypsies are everywhere.
Are they? I didn't know. Here's John. John in California. What's up, buddy?
Hey, I bought a house in New Mexico. My daughter, she's, just a baby. And she kept staring in one corner all the time, throwing a ball at it. Then she could start talking, still playing with the same corner. Then she has an imaginary friend named Dobby. They only play upstairs when she goes outside, no talk to the friend. So we owned the house about 10 years, and I just happened to run into the owner who lived in Germany when we bought it. And so she's talking about the house and what it meant to her. Her kids grew up there. And she said, but I had to sell it because my husband committed suicide in there. And the father's his nickname was Dobby. His same thing my daughter was calling her imaginary friend for 4 years.
God. Get out of that house, dude.
Get out.
Get
you ever seen the movie Get Out? Listen to them. Get out.
When I was a little kid, probably about 2 or 3, same age as you was going, I used to feel like I was visited by this woman named Mexicali Rose, and she would bring me tequila and empanadas.
Wow, she seems friendly.
Yeah. I still see her from time to time. She's much older now. Still lives in the same neighborhood.
Seems like just a bad neighbor. Who was letting you drink as a 2-year-old.
Well, like she says, it's nice to have company.
Yeah.
Here is Jay. Jay, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Ronnie? How's it going, man?
Cool, man.
So, the reason why I'm calling is to comment on what Chris was talking about not necessarily your soul, but your body energy when you die, leaving and it jumps into, another infant. And you always hear about that, and I've always viewed it to be flawed. The idea of, and the reason why I think that is you look at the world now, there's 3 billion people on the planet. 1,000 years ago, that wasn't the case. There was, say, 1 billion, if that. And you have to stop and think that if that's the case, that sure, your energy leaves your body and goes to another body, but there's so many people on the planet, obviously something is manufacturing or making more energy to go into more people because there's double to triple the amount of people on the planet now compared to was years ago.
Yeah. Well, they've done a study on this. The number on the people of the planet right now is the exact number to the person of the number of people who've ever died on the planet.
Really?
Now, whether that's a tie-in, I don't know.
It seems like it would be.
Every time a person dies, a baby's born. A person dies, a baby born. So if you're going to have a baby, you're basically killing somebody.
Yeah.
And that person will immediately come back.
Now, I know somebody who she spoke to someone who, I don't know, is psychic, she reads energy, whatever,
Right.
and she was talking about, she started referencing her 2 kids, and she felt like her 2 kids, one of them had new soul energy and one of them had old soul energy, which is kind of interesting.
I've heard about that before.
Yeah. We even say that, about a kid. Oh, she's
Right.
an old soul. It seems like she's been here before. Like, comfortable with the world or comfortable with communicating with people. And some people maybe come into this world and they're just like a little green. And they're just like, what is any of this crap?
Yeah, that makes sense. Fucking Chris came in here with nothing. You know what I mean? Just him and Goody. Goody didn't make it. Steve in Westchester.
Hey guys, I got 2 quick ones. First, my wife, apparently when she was like 6 years old, woke up in the middle of the night screaming for her grandfather.
Oh no.
And my in-laws have told me that within minutes later, they got a phone call that he had died. And my wife and I, we had a son who was about 4 years old, 5 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we had a stillborn boy. And a couple of weeks later, he starts dancing around, my son starts dancing around the living room, great mood, and says to us, when's the next time I get to talk to my brother?
Oh, boy.
Weird.
Oh, boy. You see that, Vito? You thought you were a kitty cat. Anybody mention anything about his cat stuff? I'd like to hear some remarks.
Pushing 180 at 10, lay off the meow mix.
Ouch.
Friend zone since the beginning.
Oh, yeah. Chubsy Ubsy from the Little Rascals. This one just says, I'm dead. And it has some skulls.
This one's from
Yeah.
Twitter. Someone loves lasagna more than Garfield. Somewhere Peter Chris is horrified.
Oh, that's
This
hilarious.
one's so true. He looks like a Little Rascals kid. He
He
really does.
I could have made a star out of that fucking kid.
This one is punny, so you'll like it. More like kitty fat.
Because I had a weight problem.
No, you don't. I was part of your personality. This says, I don't think I could love Vito more. He is adorbs.
Thanks.
I want to pinch those chubby cheeks. Little sweaty Vito.
The ladies love it,
Yeah.
by the way, if you've noticed. A lot of the ladies.
OMG. Meow. This one just says, hashtag my N.
Army Brat Ray loves you.
Was he ever small? Looks like all he did was shave.
Probably was shaving at that point.
Shaving your back would have made more sense.
And those shoulders.
No, that's my kitty persona.
Try for a new cat and shoulders coming soon.
Oh my
Fucking
God.
adorable.
That was cute. Vito,
When-
make that same face right now. More lower.
Cuter.
Yeah, there you go.
Less scary, more cute.
Don't make the eyes so sweeter in the eyes.
You never
More
you
lower
stood-
teeth, please.
You never stood a chance with this chick?
I mean, she was 3 years younger than me at that stage. I was into older women.
Yeah.
She was rocking the CKNY though. That's vintage 2004.
Oh, yeah, man, that fucking whole scene was so great. I think it brought fucking New York back in a big, big way. Thank you, Calvin Klein. Vito is proof that cats can come back from another life.
I lounge like a kitty cat.
I don't know. I heard fucking Chris running the other species down, but I see a lot of intelligence and empathy in animals' eyes.
I know.
More than I saw when I was a younger person.
Yeah, like my dog, she's not very clever, but
Stupid.
she is really emotionally like in tune with me.
Yeah.
And other people. Like she reads emotion very well. She's not a good problem solver.
No.
She's not one of those dogs. That's not her strong suit. But she is she seems very connected.
Lazy?
Yeah, she's pretty lazy.
She's tired.
Like today, we were walking and I thought like she had really messed up her leg. She just like her like back leg just went like she wasn't using it. She was dragging it. I was really worried that she had like put her knee out or something. And I turned around and she had just someone had thrown out like a Poland Spring bottle and it was just the sticky part of the plastic was stuck on her foot, just like the label. And she's just like, I guess I can't use my foot anymore. Instead of thinking like stopping, trying to bite it off with her teeth, anything that could have
Flee in a jar.
She's just like, well, I don't have a back leg anymore. It's got this thing stuck to it. I guess I'll have to live without it.
Chris, why don't you tell that announcement you had again earlier?
Roy Wood Jr. Unmasked. That's happening Thursday, March 15th here at the SiriusXM studios at 12:25 p.m. Go to theinterrobang.com for a chance at free tickets. Roy Wood Jr. Unmasked.
And Monday we're doing an unmasked, right?
With Michael Che and Colin Jost.
I'm telling you, folks, you want to get, you want to see some of these unmasked. That's amazing. The two guys from SNL. Also, the two crushes of Jen.
Yeah.
Yes.
would these be the only two guys that you would do a three-way with?
Oh no.
So there's many more.
How many?
No, I would never do. I wouldn't do a three-way.
Why?
I'm more of a one woman type of guy.
but
You just want to sleep with one woman?
One guy.
Are you telling me if the news team from SNL said we want to be your boyfriends, you wouldn't do it? That's a major mistake.
I'd say yes to that.
Yes.
I'm totally fine with him.
You'd have a great story for the rest of your life. I used to date.
I used to date Weekend Update.
I went out for a weekend update. Oh. Well, Vito, you and Goody.
Meow, meow.
Meow, meow. Meow, 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 meow. Did you used to go like this? Meow, meow, going to school, meow, meow, meow.
I'm a kitty cat. Meow, meow.
Meow, meow.
I was a method actor, so for that whole day, I just crawled around.
You were a methadone actor. It was a little Jimmy Shooper bit. Yeah, I'm in the methadone actor. Flat sent me this thing about Laugh Lounge tonight. He's doing something with something called Laugh Lounge. So you can look into it. Tuesday, March 6th, a big show. This is like an app that you can see comedy shows on.
Nice.
Break here, Christopher?
Yes.
Anything we need to plug before we break? You're just walking over handing us stuff.
Chris?
Jen, thanks for being on the air that break.
No problem.
Tomorrow's Dish, but I want to talk to you a little bit today, Jen, about Dish, okay?
Okay.
But, I listened to you about Dish. Now I'm going to tell you. Not because I know you're a business owner. And I'm going to say this to Jen. And say, attention business owners. You already know about Dish and all its great technology for watching TV at home. But did you know that Dish also provides TV solutions for your business?
Bars and restaurants rely on Dish to bring your favorite teams and the big games. And how about the doctor's waiting room? That's Dish keeping you entertained while you wait.
Dish has solutions that make your hotel room feel more like home by giving you all the TV you love whenever you travel. From Fortune 1000 companies to mom and pop shops, Dish Business has the best entertainment for you.
Open your doors to new customers and new opportunities with customizable programming packages and game-changing technology like the Dish Smart Box. Only Dish has the amazing value and technology to support your business.
From bars and restaurants to hotels and hospitals, Dish has a solution for you. Our award-winning technology is scalable, manageable, and affordable. And Dish will work with you to find the perfect solution for your specific needs. Learn more about Dish for your business at dish.com/business. Tomorrow, the giant storm is going to hit. What time, Chris?
It's gonna be its worst throughout the.
Vito, have
2
you
p.m.
heard anything about this?
No, but I can look into it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Tomorrow, I think we're going to have Andrew WK on the air, and it looks like we're definitely doing something that we may have to record at some point during tomorrow, so we'll go into best of.
Yes.
But it should be cool. Chris is doing his best to pull this thing together.
That's the best way to put
I've
it.
got nothing but panic, text, and phone calls. There's never been a time in my life that Chris says, he'll text, "Can I call you?" And that's never been a positive call that follows it.
Something is always wrong, which is why I
Thank you
hate
so
even
much.
texting that to you, because I know it's going to be bad.
You know what? You should try to do that just a couple times for a positive thing. Just to be like, "Hey, can I call you?" And then just be like, "Hey, that thing that we wanted to do worked out and we're going to do it."
It would be great. Just wanted to say I really enjoyed working with you, man. So much fun.
Great show today.
But you might be snowed out of another Gail Meets Girls.
It's very possible. Yeah. Because I think that they are saying it's going through possibly Thursday morning. So we'll have to see. I know Weatherman's on it.
There could be as high as 15 to 22 feet of snow.
That's too much.
Would you rather 8 to 9 feet of snow?
I guess it's
because you're not going to tell the
better.
difference.
It's all too much for me.
North Korea, after all this, says they're ready to denuclearize.
Really?
Yeah. They said, "Trust us. We won't hide any of the nukes."
Okay. Good. Well, that seems like
And they said if security is guaranteed, none of us are going to attack you, dude. We're past all that fucking spot in life.
You don't have anything we want.
They have coal, I think.
Oh, we'll take some of that. But don't nuke us.
They could have all they want of their coal. I don't care. To me, coal is old school.
You're about the future.
Yeah.
You're
That's
about
right.
technology.
Technocracy, I call it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's democracy, but with technology.
We're not living in the cave days anymore.
We're not living with Cave Dave. What is this, Daytona? It's all in my rock and roll fantasy. Yeah, yeah. I heard that playing when I was down the hall. I'm like, oh, fuck. Gotta get into a little more bad cool. Baby, when I think about you. Chris, there's something you wanted to tell me about, you said.
Yeah. So,
And I know it's not the snow because I heard that fucking meltdown.
it was so George Zimmerman and Jay-Z have been getting into in beef over the last maybe year, and now Jay-Z put out a new song and called George Zimmerman a fuckboy.
Can I just tell you something? The last guy that called George Zimmerman a fuckboy, he's dead now.
But Jay-Z isn't using the term fuckboy correctly. Fuckboy is supposed to be like a guy that just like is like, as I know it, like a scumbag who sleeps with a lot of women.
Look, we never really nailed the definition. We just know that it's negative.
Yeah, that's true.
We tried to figure it out on this show. It seemed like a lot of people, had different feelings about it.
I've never called anybody a fuckboy. And I don't think I would ever say it as a compliment because boy's in it.
Right.
There's only one term that you use that boy's in it that's a compliment. Cowboy.
And yet it makes you sound masculine.
Yes.
Like you're like, I'm a cowboy. And you think masculinity and you think of a grown ass man. You don't think of a little boy.
If somebody said to me, "How you doing, cowboy?" I say, "You better say cowman." Mister, I ain't a boy, I'm a man. And I believed in the promised land. Unlike these fucking millennials that are going to give our democracy away.
God, I really wanted to say, No, Ron, that's not true. We don't believe that. And then 3 of the 4 of us said,
Can you just admit that your generation sucks?
I mean, I don't want to say it sucks because, look, I also wanted to point out that there is a difference. You know, there's the elderly millennials, there's the young millennials, and then you got the Gen Zers. And I always felt like the elderly millennials who are almost at that, you know, Generation X cusp.
Yeah.
Like, I always felt like we're kind of different than the youngsters. But then Chris jumps in and says, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about democracy. I thought I'd at least have Chris.
No.
Feels like it hasn't been working.
Chris, can you move that thing from your eye? It really scares me when you do that. Yeah.
You put the earphones do not fit you.
No, they don't.
Why don't you go out and order a triple XL fucking
I always thought
earbuds?
I didn't know they made extra large headphones.
Why,
sure
yes.
they do.
Why don't you look into earbuds? I'll have them with you.
All right.
Me and you will get earbuds.
You guys will be buddies.
Ear buddies.
And then you guys rub your ears together?
Stop
That's your
it.
secret.
Stop it.
No.
You know, fuckboy actually made a bunch of terms. Like, there's a few boy terms now. Like, there's broke boy, which means you don't have a lot of money or you're cheap.
Tis broke.
And then there's hot boy, which is like you're being a real hot boy right now, which means you're making things hot.
As in making,
Like-
are hot angry or hot,
Hot, like
sexy?
you're drawing attention to the situation, like you're making it hot, like hot boy.
Like you don't want a hot boy hanging out.
You don't want a hot
He's
boy.
bringing
So
in the
he's
heat.
like fighting at the bar and you're like, chill out. You're
Yes.
being a real hot boy right now.
Or stop spending all the money from the fucking robbery. You're a hot boy.
Gotcha. Bringing all this attention to us.
Now, what about dirty white boy?
Mhm.
Is that just for foreigner fans, or does anybody else say it?
I think you can make dirty white boy a thing.
I'm a dirty white boy, dirty white boy. By the way, the 2 bands that I just sang, I went from Bad Company to Foreigner. Both of them, I think, have sold 17 billion records. Neither one has been welcomed into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's strange.
Why? Too mainstream.
I thought the Bad Company would have, at least. It seemed like they would have been.
Foreigner actually sold a lot more albums than Bad Company.
Yeah, but like for the reason you said, I thought Foreigner was more of a,
Pussy.
you know, like corporate-y kind of feeling about them. But I didn't realize that Bad Company had that same.
Speaking of corporate, I have fucking. If you hadn't said corporate, I would have thought of it. So I'm out having sushi last night, right? Delightful place. I'm sitting down. 2 young fucking dude bros with ties come in with their ladies, right? They start bragging. The guy literally said, closed the deal, been working on for 10 months. They high-fived and went, boom. It was like I was in a fucking movie. Now, I'm going to tell you what these 2 people claimed.
Okay.
They closed the deal in Times Square, and we're going to get a Margaritaville restaurant and hotel.
In Times Square?
We need it, Chris.
I fucking texted fucking Hard Rock Johnny immediately because they're putting the Hard Rock hotel there. And then Johnny wrote back to me, that will be just as successful as their Broadway show, which I think was his way of saying it wasn't. But do you believe the 2 fucking guys in suit and tie would high five
boom
and go boom?
No.
Boom.
You're a character in a movie. You are the character of, like, corporate fuckboy, for lack of a better word. I think I'm using it properly.
I didn't think that could happen in real life.
Dude, it happened. And also, I had some old fucking New Yorkers sitting next to me. And this old man goes like this. We have the worst leader in the free world. As they're eating their sushi. That's fucking New York. You got an old socialist and a young fuckboy fucking high-fiving and saying boom.
Ugh. Man, it's really hard for me. Like, you know how you have just certain stereotypes, prejudices even, of things like that? That is one of those things where it always takes a lot for me to shake off my feelings of those types. Like, the elevator fills sometimes with those guys from other companies that we share the elevator with. And they're barely saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
But they start talking, and I'm just like, shut the fuck up. I don't like, I get like hot anger for no reason. And they're mostly just doing that kind of thing, like, okay, like, you know, doing this thing and blah, blah. And you're like, what are you? It's like that SNL character was like guy with a boat is like, that's a real guy. Like, that's a real dude that exists. Like, that's not.
I know they talk about that. They talk about like their weekends, like where they went on the weekend.
Yeah. Oh,
and
God.
That's their main fucking point of talking. And then also, these same people in these elevators, they also walk around with open laptops.
Okay,
I've noticed this.
This is a big beef of Chris's. And I'm going to be honest here. I think he's angry all out of proportion.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed it, but Chris, it like enrages him.
It enrages him every time.
And I don't know why specifically.
Because, at first, I'm like, that's odd. Then it keeps happening. And then I start thinking, all right, so they must have something open on the laptop that they can't see on their phone. But it never is. It's just like a desktop or their email. And they also have a phone in their hand, and they're walking around with open laptops. These aren't like IT people.
Yeah, but they're going from one floor to another. They're going from one meeting to another.
Yeah.
Right? And their life, like, remember when you were in school and you had to take notes? That's what their fucking life is. They're going into meetings. Some fucking dude, bro, is just talking shit. They act like they're typing, and then they move on.
Sometimes they accidentally type boom if somebody says it.
Your feeling is that they should shut the fucking laptop in between meetings.
Thank you. Just shut the laptop. It's 2018. This computer, just when you open back up, it's it's the same screen.
Mm-hmm.
But why does it make you angry?
Because
it doesn't take up more room.
I feel like it takes up more room.
It doesn't take up more
And I feel like
room.
they're showing off like, oh, I'm so busy. I got to have that. I can't. I'm too busy to close my laptop.
Maybe that keeps them hired at these places where nothing happens.
Yeah.
It's enraging, man.
It makes them look...
You know, these NBC people, AP Bio just fucking started.
I think they do bigger crimes against humanity than the fucking laptop thing. I think their button etiquette. Just everybody getting on the elevator, press the button. It's a system, and you're ruining the system by not pressing it, and then 20 people get in the elevator, and it fucks everybody's day up.
It's not necessarily true, dude, because that elevator also goes by weight.
Yeah, I've tested. I've hit the button a bunch of times, like up on here, and I was the only one on there, and
Yeah.
it still stopped.
It still stops.
Really?
It doesn't matter.
And I'm
We've
overweight.
tried the button theory.
It's a smart box. You're inside a computer, basically.
Okay, so
you're inside a phone going down 36 fucking floors.
Smartphone?
My even more so than the open laptop is even just the delayed walking on. A lot of them will be doing their work, so they'll have their phone open or they'll be checking their email. But then you know how like you're never going to move as fast and efficiently because your eyes are not on what you're doing. And so the elevator door opens. You're like, no one's here. This is weird. And then like 10 seconds later, someone slowly walks on and they're like reading their email. And you're like, you've just wasted everyone's time because you're working.
What about the guy who sees somebody he knows and fucking stops the door? I saw somebody do that and start talking to someone. And I'm like, dude, you're going to have to fucking get off this elevator. I go...
They all do.
I mean, it's all going to be fucking... This thing is going to turn into a bloodbath.
One guy held the door up and was like, hey, I'll talk to you when I get upstairs.
Yeah.
And then stood back in. It's like, come on, man. We all have fucking places to be, dude.
You should have pushed him out.
Talk to him right now.
Talk to him right now. Might be the last person you ever talk to. Fuck boy.
Like, let's just get these guys. You know what I mean?
I would love to. I'd love to get each and every one of them.
And like, the funny thing is, there are not a lot of people that I know on 37, and there's like a lot of people who work here that you don't connect with. But one thing we can all connect on is once those people are off, we're just like, they're disgusting. What's with those people? Like everybody at Sirius has
We all hate
decided
them.
we hate them.
Yeah.
We hate all of them.
Wes in Dallas.
Yeah, I think you guys may be overthinking the term fuckboy. I think
good.
Other than a haircut, it's always just meant twink.
Now, do you guys don't find that twink is somewhat of an anti-gay word?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you're just saying this young person is just a fuckboy.
But see, here's the thing. You're saying that, but then Army Brat Ray Ray writes to us the top definition of it, and it's like asshole, who strictly is into sexual relationships, will lead a girl on. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's not a twink. That personality isn't a twink. That's why I'm like, we just haven't all agreed on this.
Chris always tells me that a twink is like passing around a bottle down south.
I do.
That's disgusting.
Fuckboy isn't a twink. Those are two different definitions.
Chris, if you were gay, is that who your type would be? Would be twinks?
I want a twink, but I thought a twink couldn't be older. Also, like in the 30s.
No.
Really?
No, they're
It's
supposed to
always
be younger and petite. And
Call Me By Your Name is a twink.
yeah.
The kid.
Yes,
Yes.
the kid.
Why would the giant man who's 2
What
feet
are you
taller
getting
than-
about twink? It's like a Twinkie.
I thought
it's a cream-filled fucking sweet
Delicious.
thing.
Think about a delicious Twinkie. That's what you need to think about. Would you call a giant man a delicious
No,
Twinkie?
but I thought maybe a twink could also be a larger man, maybe that's just skinny and hairless. That also could be. That's what
That's
I
a
thought.
seal.
Okay. Now I'm learning.
Army Hammer could never be a twink.
Even when he was young, he's just way
Yeah.
too big.
He's 6'5", 220 pounds, and there's
And
two of him.
6.5.
What's the other Army Hammer's name?
Armed Hammer?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean there's two of them?
From the
That
movie.
was just what he yelled in Social Network.
Oh. I was like, what are you talking about?
Did you see Social Network?
No, I didn't. Oh, yeah,
He
I did
played
see
twins.
it. Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
He said he was going to beat up that guy.
I thought you were telling me he legitimately had a twin.
No. Although I think of him as a twin all the time.
Yeah.
I do too. I'll be like, I wonder what the other one's up to, and I'll remember it was a fictional character.
I saw him one night. I thought I was so drunk I was saying single. You ever get that drunk where you see pairs or something, but you can only see one? And then the real Winklevi walked by one day, remember, Chris?
Yeah.
And you're like, that's a Winklevi. He started fucking freaking out. I'm like, dude, there's no way I'm going to be impressed with these guys.
Ron.
Settle the fuck down. Where were they going? Fox?
Yeah, they're going to Fox.
Both of them had open laptops, but it didn't fucking enrage Chris that time.
No, because they weren't in an elevator.
I'll tell you, this is my fucking thing, and it disgusts me. People who bring their lunch back to the office, they stink up the elevator, they stink up the offices. Okay, it's the perfect time. Go walk on 37 now, and it stinks.
Yeah.
Of old food.
And you know, the food that's coming in is bad, but then there's also a lot of people just using that microwave. So that's just, you're getting the microwave sense of people's leftover dinner from last night.
Just go into a place and eat. Get out of the building for a minute. Don't act like your fucking computer is, your only computer's here. Open your laptop. You know?
Outside the elevator.
Work in the elevator all the way down.
Do not do that. There's no internet connection.
We have a new microwave system here that somebody put in place. There's fucking dryer sheets in the microwave, and it's like, put these in every time you stop. Every time you're not using the microwave, put these dryer sheets back in.
But then then your
Dryer
food
sheet
is going to
chemicals?
take. Yeah, there's chemicals in dryer sheets.
You don't
It's just-
keep it in while it.
I don't care.
No, it doesn't
It's filled
matter. It's
with
fucking.
air.
Would you want to fucking go? Oh, let me move the dryer sheet off my plate and then sit down and eat my dinner.
Might as well blast mace into the thing every time.
No, Chris, that's
might as
too
well.
far. Chris, you've taken it too far, and now I look like a crazy person.
No, you look sane.
No, because all of a sudden they're going to go, those two guys say it's like mace, and it isn't like that.
I don't think that that's healthy. I don't think you should be having dryer sheets full of chemicals.
And then someone's going to forget the dryer sheet in there, and it's going to nuke the dryer sheet.
You're going to open it. You're going to see the thing while you
Stop
place your
yelling
food.
at me.
People make
It's a-
mistakes all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's also
Tito?
a singular sheet. It could just look
it's
like
a box.
That's even worse. That's all this goddamn dryer sheet residue in your food, bro.
Wait, bro.
Yeah, I hate you.
What a
Well,
fuck-
that's no
You're
different
making
than
up.
boom.
No, that's the exact same as boom.
Yeah, you just boomed him.
You're a fucking dude boom.
Dude, boom, a boom boy, or a fuck boom.
Peter, why are you always on the wrong side of something that's fucking disgusting?
Can't believe that you.
No, you love shitty food and you don't mind what chemicals are fucking cast upon
Do you,
them.
have you used that microwave that's been just bacon with that stuff
Yeah,
in
I've
there?
taken the dryer sheet box out.
That's disgusting.
Put some
I
rice
don't
in
think
there.
that's safe.
Why don't you just fucking drink cereal milk? Because you're fucking hideous.
Ew.
Can they let you fucking train kids?
Train them. I heard you fucked up that ninja party pretty bad.
What happened?
The ninja dance party did not go well.
What happened?
So, like, they have us do a ninja dance party.
Who has you doing this?
The parents requested a ninja.
Why don't you explain what you do for a living?
ninja
Set
dance
the fucking
party?
table.
So-
Don't start midway through this insane story.
So I coach children's birthday parties on the weekends.
Coach?
And, yes, Chris, coach.
Just Chris, let him go.
And show up for work, and it says the beginning of the party has to have a dance portion, and then we have to do ninja-like races, and then it says sneaky stuff. So to start the dance part, I go downstairs and realize we don't have a fucking speaker or anything, so I have to get kids to dance without music. So I'm just like an adult male saying to a group of kids, "Let me see your best booty shake." That comes off creepy, I feel like. Then I'm just trying to get fucking kids to dance. It's going terribly. The parents are like, let's move on past this dancing thing. Then I'm
I
setting
don't
up.
believe they have to even tell you this.
It was not pristine.
But you know something's failing. Bail.
But we had to try because it's what they requested, but not having a speaker just fucked everything up. So then I get an email yesterday that goes, "What happened on this party yesterday, guys?" And I had to write out a serious email saying, "Look, we tried our best with the dance portion. The ninja activities were fun and the kids were having a great time. Tanya was dancing her heart out to get these kids involved. But I think I have to go to a meeting this weekend about how to host a dance party."
Did you hear what Chris said to you? Say it again, Chris.
Why don't you just use your phone?
We did use our phone, but you're on a basketball court with soccer games and fucking children yelling, so you can't really hear the music. So I'm playing freeze dance with these fucking kids and trying to get 25 kids to hear music.
I hope
coming
you
off
get
of their
fired.
iPhones. Why?
Because you shouldn't be around children.
I'm
You
good
can't
with
even pull
kids.
off a ninja
You
dance
said
party.
shake your booty to children you don't know.
Kids love booty shaking.
Tell that to the fucking judge, dude. I got nothing to do with it. You're having a meltdown right now.
No.
A Nürnberg meltdown. Your days are numbered. What a fucking maniac.
Yeah. Who can't pull off a ninja party?
Oh, a
That
basketball
fucking
court?
big fucking cat right there. Why don't you just show them pictures of you when you were a kid and tell them how much you weighed and how difficult it was to sleep?
Probably the youngest person with sleep apnea.
Why don't you ask them fucking scary ghost stories like we did here today?
I know.
Just ask kids to tell their ghost stories.
Yeah.
Jesus, stop asking questions. Mm-hmm. Chris, what else was on your mind?
Well, did you see the brawl on the Southwest Airlines flight?
It wasn't a brawl. A person had a fucking psychotic breakdown.
You think it was a psychotic breakdown?
The old lady who yelled that she was God and tried to open the door?
Oh no, this is a different.
Oh, I didn't know that.
This is a straight up brawl.
Okay, let me see it.
That guy has his neck pillow on still.
And there's multiple fights in multiple parts of the Southwest Airlines flight.
Are they in the air at this point?
They're on the tarmac.
Oh my god.
And they missed their connection, so everyone started just beating the shit out of each other.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Southwest is terrible. They make you fight for your seats with each other. Like, it's a terrible system.
I'm going to agree with Vito.
I don't fly that.
You do get set up for that kind of tension. You start off already very tense. Everyone's like running to the gate.
Yeah.
Everyone's like trying to get their seat. People are like, but we're a group and we want to sit together. It's a terrible system.
I got to know. Some guy came
They're
up.
fun, though. They make jokes and they sing songs. They're known for that.
But the customers are like, some guy comes up to me and is like, I'm supposed to be number one here, and was showing off, and we were in the worst section. Just a terrible system Southwest has in place.
Baby, when I think about you. I only fly private. I got to be in a private fucking plane that people go, good evening, Mr. Bennington. Where's Carly at?
Right here.
Ask her if she wants to come in. Sit in for a bit. She's been our rock star intern. What would you give her 0 to 10 this year?
9.5.
9.5. Chris?
Give Carly a 10.
Really?
Wow, you're so apt to give
zeros to things, so I'm shocked.
Carly, while you were running over, I'll just say this. One of your producers gave you a 9.5 on a scale to 0 to 10. The other gave you a 10. Try to guess who gave the higher grade.
I think Chris probably gave me the higher grade.
You are correct.
Correct, Carly. That's why I got a 10.
How'd you figure that out?
Well, I heard Vito say 9.5.
Okay. That's
So,
all right, that's smart.
yeah.
That's good. That's figuring stuff out. Let me tell you something. If Chris tries anything with you, come directly to me or HR.
Okay.
Because it's time's up, folks. All
You
right?
know that time's up, right?
Are you a big believer in the time's up thing?
Yeah.
Chris isn't.
Yeah.
Nothing's going to happen.
What do you mean?
I promise everyone.
Just tell me this right now. Have you tried to drug any of the interns?
I have not tried to drug any interns.
If you find yourself feeling drowsy,
Okay.
come out of there and I have an EpiPen.
Okay, great.
I'll put an EpiPen in your neck. Now, they were saying that it was another down. Every mass thing now is down, whether it was football, the Oscars, or whatever. Less people because more people are unplugged and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But the President of the United States tweeted this today. The problem is there are no more stars. And then he puts, except for your president. And then he puts in parentheses, kidding, of course. He was like, he meant it. And then he said, I better put kidding.
JK.
Yeah.
Winky face. Winky emoji.
Did you vote for Trump?
No, I voted for Hillary.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't know why it didn't work with you women. There seems to be enough of you.
I know.
But,
It's the white ones that messed it up, to be honest.
white women?
Mm-hmm.
White gals.
It's the white ladies.
We'll see what happens. We know this. Trump is set to meet Sweden's guy. I don't know whether they have a president or some kind of Viking king. I don't know what they do.
I think it's like the head of parliament, Swedish parliament.
P-Funk. Head of P-Funk.
Oh, cool. Well, this is going to be a great meeting.
Prime Minister. There's no head of parliament. It's Prime Minister. Now, sometimes, like, these ladies, like, here's Hallie Jackson. She has her own show, but then when she's not doing her show, she's standing on the White House lawn. I'd be like, dude, I can't go out and do that anymore.
Yeah, I have
got
a
my own
desk.
show. You know? Like, when it's my show, I'll talk about him. If not, I'm not standing in front of his house hoping he comes out and sees me. You just hear this. Ron? What are you doing out here? Oh, I don't know. I thought you'd come by after work. Catch a smoke.
I would never want to be anyone who has to be like man on the street for news.
I wouldn't mind being with the pack yelling, Mr. President, Mr. President, Mr. President. That seems like it's fucking fun.
Also, it just never works.
No, it never does.
Yeah, you never get to ask your question.
If somebody was like, if he was asking, let's say, Chris's question, I'd be yelling to my question at the same time. I'd be like, fuck what he said. What do you plan on doing about NAFTA? I missed Nürnberg today. He made yesterday so much fun.
I know he really did make yesterday fun. I enjoyed seeing all of his press that he did.
Yeah.
Just particularly when he was just like, I'm not showing up for that. She's like, you will be arrested.
Today he's sedated and sleeping. He's sedated and sleeping comfortably in the trunk of a car. Roger Stone is just driving him around the fucking beltway. Sleep, dear boy, sleep. We'll figure a way out of this.
Dream now.
Let dreams be your only friend. Yesterday never happened. And tomorrow will never get here. Take your last breath, dear boy. Trump said there is no turbulence in the White House. We know. It's all running great.
Everything seems like it's going so smoothly.
Everything's fantastic. There's not much else you could do to make it any more perfect, any more greater than it already is.
He's already made it great again.
Mm-hmm. The only way you could make this country greater is if he had free weed stations lined up on every 2 blocks. Well, I saw that the first responders are mad because he's switching over their health insurance.
Really?
Yeah, and Jon Stewart came out for them yesterday.
He's always there for them.
Oh, Jon Stewart. Trevor Noah yelled out, "Pay no attention to that old Jew." It's a new day. There's a slick new caddy in their driveway. Carly, we talked to some of these young people. They don't think democracy is important. They could gladly live without democracy. What about you?
I would say it's pretty important.
You pick it.
Yeah.
Finally.
I'm pro-democracy.
Good.
Can I tell you something? I never thought I would have this debate in the United States of America. Pull it back, Chris. You're folding your eye down
I know.
again.
I was gonna say it, and
Yeah.
it's like it was
You don't
creeping
mean
me
to
out,
do it.
but I don't.
But your head is so large.
But it makes him look like a prize fighter. Like his eyes, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to cut you in order to.
I might
release
do it
the
anyway.
blood.
Cut me, Mick. Cut me. You look at this. Look at this. See all these old things that I have. He had a nail in his glove. He got punch me. I put that in. Poor Mick. He had one last shot himself with that fucking Italian stallion, a name that he invented. No, I invented that name. So are you surprised to hear that your generation doesn't care one way or another? Well, 1/3 of them. Yeah, me too.
I don't know. Am I a millennial? I was born in 98.
Oh my God, you're so young. You're a baby.
98.
I think the cutoff is 97. I don't know.
No, but you know what?
Give me the official cutoff, please.
I think she's right.
Yeah, I think she is.
Baby millennial.
Yeah, a Z. What are they?
Dragon Ball Z.
Founders?
Gen Z.
They're called
Founders.
Founders. The one they have
Get
from
outta
Miles
here.
is Founders.
As was that movie, that McDonald's movie. He fucking loved that movie. He's going like this. I could eat 15 cheeseburgers. I'm going, that's all you got out of that movie.
They're delicious.
They are delicious. I'll say this. We make the best cheeseburgers in the world, the United States of America. And shakes. What kind of shake would you order, Chris?
Black and white.
Vita.
Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Martin and Lewis.
Give me straight vanilla. I like a refreshing taste.
Same.
Martin and Lewis, straight vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you go black and white because you don't like total chocolate in this?
Yeah, I want to cut a little bit.
I think there's a cutoff age for an adult with chocolate. You know what I mean? When you're little, everything's chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Give me chocolate. Give me chocolate water. Chocolate everything.
Chocolate, as an adult, I think, needs to become more like a garnish. It has some chocolate in it. There's a drizzle of chocolate. But if you're like chocolate cake, chocolate ice cream, everything, that's too much. That's a kid's world.
I think I might just saw soda walk by, but I don't know because...
No, that wasn't soda.
I can't tell because you've got a fucking blanket up like there's been a murder in here. You don't want anybody to see. Seriously, starting tomorrow during snowpocalypse. Hey, make sure the interns know not to show up tomorrow.
They'll know.
I don't want anybody snowpocalypsing in here.
Mm-hmm.
I hate when anyone says like, "Oh, you're an intern, plus risk your life to get here." So you were born in 1998.
Yep.
You completely missed Oasis.
Yeah.
The band Oasis is gone for you.
Yeah.
You really missed any of the early boy bands. That wasn't your time.
No.
Britney Spears probably was, 98 when she came out?
Yeah.
You would have been an infant baby.
Towards the end of TRL.
Yeah.
What do you mean towards the end? The TRL really only fucking started around that time.
Yeah, and then it went to like early aughts, like what of
This
4 or 5,
goddamn
yeah.
idiot has no idea when TRL was. You call yourself a New Yorker?
God damn it, Chris.
No wonder you drug interns and try to pull them into the office.
I don't do that
anymore. Can you imagine if you were born in 1998?
No, I can't. It's too difficult for me to imagine.
Weird.
Just think soon we'll have interns that were just missed the last century completely. So you don't even remember 9/11?
No.
Well, let me tell you this. It sucked.
It wasn't good.
Yeah, it was not a good
I
thing.
wish I was like you. So young.
Good night, Moon. What's the name of that book, Good Night, Moon?
Good Night, Moon, yeah.
And isn't there a song? Like Goodnight Moon?
There might be. I don't
There's
know.
some fucking scary song that's like Goodnight Moon. Am I crazy when I'm thinking that?
I don't know.
Maybe that's from a past life.
My past life was this life.
There's a song by Go Radio called Goodnight Moon.
Let's hear it.
The video looks kind of scary.
Yet, love, I think it's too early and we just need a little time to ourselves.
Fake accent.
If my wall clock tells me that it's 4 in the morning, I'll give it hell.
This can't be it.
Chris, you picked something insane.
Ryan, what's up?
Hey, Bennington, how you doing, bud?
Good.
I'm calling. You guys brought up cheeseburgers. I'm an over-the-road trucker, and I eat burgers everywhere.
Good.
I'm trying to figure out what the best burger in the country is. I wonder if you guys got any opinions. I'm a big In-N-Out burger out on the West Coast and Culver's in the Midwest of the country.
I'm going to say this to you, Ryan. I'm sure that the best burger is just one single thing and not a chain. Because the second you become a chain, things get worse.
That is true.
Yeah.
And I think
I remember I went to the original Five Guys. I'm like, this is the best fucking burger ever. And then I'm like, oh, good, Five Guys has moved to my town. Not the best burger ever.
No. It's passable for a fast food burger, but it doesn't have the same quality it did when it was just its own place.
When it was an original, right.
So I like a real mom and pop place with an old greasy grill that's been there for many years. Probably failed a couple health tests when they came in.
Exactly.
But for you on a personal level, what is your favorite burger?
Well, out west, I'm an In-N-Out guy, double animal style.
Okay.
And in the Midwest, Culver's and their butter burgers.
I know a lot of people enjoy the butter burger.
Yeah.
Pat of butter on the burger. They say it's the best thing for you, health-wise.
Good.
Really hardens up those arteries.
Yeah, you got to harden my heart. I think we know quite a bit about that. Here's what I'm going to do, Ryan. I'm going to send you into the prize closet, and then Vito is going to take your number, and we'll come back and do something on this. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to the bottom of it. Well, here's somebody we haven't heard from in a while, but you can't hear from enough.
No, I got to ask you a question, guys.
Yes.
This is, oh my gosh, Ronnie, Gail, whatever your intern name is, you ain't gonna believe what happened to me.
What?
I'm back on the fucking comedy circuit.
You're on the circuit?
Yeah, I'm on the circuit, but not like really on the circuit, because like I'm gonna be at this place, and they're giving me 3 minutes, and I gotta get 10 people in the door, but I don't know how to get 10 people in the door. But I already got my material.
You got to bring 10 people. 3 minutes? No, that's not fair.
Say.
Give you a person a minute at least.
But I know, man, 10 people but you know what? I'll just fucking go up on stage.
What's the name of this place?
It's like Toscano's. It's an Italian restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said that
Filipinos out by the airport.
Toscano's. Then they say you get 3 minutes, and then they say you got to get 10 people.
What town is it? What town is it, Jen?
Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
And then they have one that's Toscano's. Then they have the Chinese disco
Bethesda.
in DC, but they said it's not Chinese and it's not a disco. And then it's on Chicken Place.
All right. So you consider this
Bethesda.
Oh my God!
I don't know
That's
that.
and then they say you could get some pasta, but you can't bring the pasta and watch a comedian.
Okay.
And you know what? I'm fucking opening for this fucking guy. I don't even fucking know. He's a pretend mentor.
First of all, you're not opening for anybody if you're doing 3 minutes.
That's what the guy said. He said I got to bring 10 people in. He says I'm going to be an opener for this guy. And I don't fucking understand. That's why I'm calling you. You're my friend.
Yeah, I don't think that this is worth your time. If you have 10 people, right? And how much is it to get in?
$10.
All right, so that's $100 he wants
Yeah, that's
plus
what
drinks.
I was thinking. But I would have to pay $100 for 3 minutes, And all I want to do is be funny. And he was like, you should be terrified. And I'm like, dude, I do fucking comedy at the Wawa all the time. I ain't fucking scared to get up. I already got jokes.
Oh, is this place called the Laugh Riot?
No, it wasn't a Laugh Riot. It was like at Ha-Ha's it was somewhere in Northern Virginia. But like there's no fucking comedy places around here. And the only three, the Chinese.
How far are you from D.C.?
This guy runs everything. He's like the fucking mafia of the fucking D.C.
The
I'm like an
mafia
hour from
does
D.C.
not run comedy clubs.
Mafia of DC.
Yeah, because even like Don Shula's, like you can't get in. Like I don't know how to get
Vito,
in.
if you don't tell me when my guest is here from now on, I'm gonna go fucking crazy. All right? Did you know that he was
you
here?
gotta go.
Yeah, you know he was here.
Yes, I know.
For how long?
5 minutes.
He told me I forgot to give you the plug.
You got to go to me. You can't go to him.
I apologize, Ronnie.
It's my fault. It's my
All right.
fault.
I'll see you later, buddy.
Jen, don't do this show. All right.
Don't do the show. Okay.
All right. Thanks. Bye.
All right. Thank you, buddy.
And we'll keep clear of the mafia. Ted Alexander is going to be here. His new special, Senior Class of Earth, is coming out. Ted's performing with Jim Gaffigan on Jim's Fixer Upper Tour, happening all over the United States, Canada, and Europe. TedAlexander.com for all of his dates. We'll be right back. This is Bennington.
Welcome back to Bennington. Ted Alexandro's in the studio.
Yes!
All right.
Ted's new special, Senior Class of Earth, is coming out soon, and Ted's performing with Jim Gaffigan on Jim's Fixer Upper Tour, which is happening all over the United States, Canada, and Europe. TedAlexandro.com for all of Ted's dates.
Truly one of the best comedians working in the country. Great to see you, pal.
Great to see you guys.
So that's a sweet deal, going out on the road with Gaffigan, huh?
It's really nice, man. It kind of, it just came about a few years ago. I was doing this kind of makeshift tour through the South that was thrown together by these younger comics that were down there. They were like, you want to come down through like Mobile, Alabama, Meridian. And I was sitting in the lobby kind of like questioning whether or not I made the right choice to do this tour. I mean, it was fun, but it was all kind of like bars and stuff. And I'm sitting in the lobby and I get a call from Gaffigan saying, you want to tour with me this summer? And I said yes immediately. And that's been 3 years now. So, and he tours pretty steadily. So it's been a good gig.
He tours steadily. He promotes steadily, and he's got an excellent audience.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
These are people that, well, they really enjoy comedy, his audience.
His crowds are great, you know? The thing about Jim is like he having opened for Jim now for 3 years, and I opened for Louis a while back, you get to see why they are where they are. They just work really hard, you know? Every set, they listen back to it, they take notes, they go over it. So just I've learned a lot from Jim. And as far as his crowds, they're great. For me, like, you know, I do have to kind of keep it down the middle a little bit more, just because, you know, he's a little more like family oriented. So, you know, sometimes I'll leave out like political stuff or stuff that's a little more social commentary that might like divide the crowd, especially like post Trump. Before the election, I was doing that stuff, touring with Jim. And there wasn't a problem. But after he got elected, some of the cities that we go to, it's like, it was almost like the shift of, we're not going to sit and listen to this anymore. He won. Our guy won. You know, like before, he was like still kind of the punchline for everyone. But once he won, it was kind of like, you know, crowds were demonstrative, like, you know, in there.
And I think that has less to do with comedy and more to do with the news media, that they feel like, I hear his name so much. I mean, it's a 24-hour a day thing that you hear Trump. So when you bring up something that maybe even they agree with, they're like, hey, easy. You know?
Not now.
And I get it. I mean, sometimes I don't even feel like talking about him. But, you know, if I have a joke that I like, that I'm happy with, it's like, you know, how many chances am I going to get to do it in front of 7,000 people, you know?
Right.
But the gig is opening for Jim, so I'm kind of mindful of.
Absolutely.
It's a different thing.
Absolutely. But you're picking up fans every single show, which is, I mean, just think that's like how long would it take you going through clubs to see 7,000 people?
Exactly.
You know, you get to do it one night.
15 years.
Yeah. Sometimes it's pretty close to that.
Yeah.
You got a special coming out, though, right?
Yeah. I just shot a special about 6 months ago at the Village Underground.
Uh-huh.
And so now I've been talking with All Things Comedy, Bill Burr and Al Madrigal, because they're working on a deal for like 8 specials with, it's going to be Amazon or Hulu, one of those.
Some people are doing even all the platforms now. Have you noticed that? Like you can hit, as long as you're not doing a TV network, you can hit the platforms.
Yeah.
And I think it's ridiculous to act like these things are competing against each other because it's, it's all out there. But I find it like fascinating how the special has changed over the years that way.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I mean, like, to think back how comedy has changed in the 25 years I've been doing it now, or even just in my lifetime, going back to like cable television,
right,
and then internet, obviously, and now all of this, and even like, I guess probably Louis again had a hand in making the template like
absolutely
a yearly thing.
Well, not only that, but the fact that he would put them out on his own site, and he showed more than anybody else that you can reach an audience, and you don't have to sit around and discuss how you're going to market this or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think that he did that. When he did that for Barry Crimmins,
that's right.
That's the only chance, and because Louis did that with Barry, we now have a permanent record of Barry Crimmins, or else we wouldn't have had it.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable when you think about that.
Yeah, and that is a good thing. That is kind of part of the template now, is you can do your own thing. Now, granted, Louis had the advantage of he was a household name already.
Right.
He was, I guess he was, because people always debate like, oh, well, he wasn't Louis when he was doing, and obviously in the context of now, things have shifted again because everything Louis gone through, but at that point, he could put it out and everybody would buy it, as opposed to, your average comic or whatever. But even still, I mean, that's how I did my last special, my last one before this. I just shot it low budget and put it up and made it pay what you want, So, and that was basically on the backs of like Louis' ideas or even Radiohead, or just, make it available and let people pay what they want.
By the way, I love that you're doing this from the underground too, because that's the way I like to see a special in a club. The theater things in the back never work for me.
And that's a great club for it too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, thanks. And that's my home club too. So there is the natural feel of like, all right, this is where I play every weekend. So yeah, the combination of familiarity and also just the way it's shot. Like you said, I have this disdain for, granted, like doing Comedy Central specials in the 90s and 2000s definitely helped kind of put me on the map a little bit and grow an audience. But I always like and those weren't even so big that they were distracting, but some of the ones they do now, like the size of them and the scope of them, and also the crowd is in a frenzy. It's like, that's not the experience.
Yeah, that isn't the experience.
You don't get a standing ovation when you walk out. Like people are generally, kind of disinterested until you make them laugh.
Yeah, until you still win them over on a nightly basis. And I think it's interesting that you'll see Attell has to win that room over.
Yes.
When you're in New York.
I love seeing that with a comedian that I like. If I go to see a comedian that I love, and I could see that the audience is either there for other reasons or they're just there to see comedy, and to watch them convince that audience that they're great is one of my favorite things, because they're like, see, now everybody gets it. I love that feeling.
Yeah, it's a whole different thing when they're just glad to see you in their town.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting too, because there are the various dynamics. Like if it's a hugely famous comic, there is the giddiness when they first arrive, especially if they show up unannounced. But then, depending on how well people are known or not, there's that kind of back and forth between a comic and a crowd of like, all right, what do you got?
Yeah.
But yeah, if somebody's famous, it just takes a little longer for them to be like, all right, is this all you got?
Is that it, dude? Because you seem lazy tonight.
Yeah.
People don't even, I don't know if comics even understand that it's a little bit nerve-wracking to be in the audience and think, oh, is this going to be a bad night? Is this guy not on? Because that is an uncomfortable thing.
You mean if it's somebody big?
Yeah, if it's somebody, no matter who it is, if they're not good, it's not easy to sit there.
Well, I mean, that's the beauty of stand-up. Whether you go to an open mic or you go to the cellar, there's always that dynamic of, all right, is this going off the rails? Like, does this person know what they're doing? And sometimes that's a beautiful thing to watch, too. It's memorable. You know, you leave with like kind of an indelible experience.
I think you were talking about the people who work hard. I just watched this Apatow thing that he did on Gary Shandling. And Gary Shandling, the amount that he wrote, and he kept journals for 25 years. So the journals were just filled with stuff. And I'm like, I never in my life thought, I don't know, for all these years, I thought comedy came so easy to Gary Shandling.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I never saw him at any time look like he was struggling with it.
Yeah.
And you just see him on this documentary, just reams of paper before he goes walking out.
Right.
Just going over all of it, scratching stuff out. It's phenomenal to see.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of a guy like him, because it does look so effortless. Even in conversation, when you watch him on talk shows or whatever, he's got his cadence is funny. Seeing the gears work is funny. But then when you see all of those years of writing, and that's what hones it.
Yeah, and he also believed like the sole purpose was to figure out who he was, just as a spiritual person or whatever this experience was. I just have to keep pushing till I found this. And I thought, that's interesting. When you put a higher thought of why you're doing it, it changes the art. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, because when I write, like, I don't really, a lot of times, sit down to write comedy. I just sit to journal.
Is that right?
Yeah. To just, what am I thinking about? What's on my mind? And so I'll have pages and pages of stuff that is not funny.
Yeah.
Some of which makes the stage.
But you always come in with a moral center. Am I wrong about that? You're not a guy who, as they say, punches down. You want to feel somewhat proud of the material that you're doing.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
No, I would say that, that informs, as far as, having a voice or a direction. I don't want to punch down.
Yeah.
But if something is like, dangerous or whatever, I am intrigued to see, like, how can I,
where can I get it?
Yeah. Figure it out.
Yeah.
If it's intriguing to me.
Now, the fact that you had a background as a teacher, right?
Yeah.
Did that kind of prepare you for the kind of public speaking that you do now, or was it totally different?
Yeah, at the time I didn't realize it, but I was teaching in my early 20s to mid 20s, and you don't realize that you're working that muscle of public speaking and keeping people's attention, being interesting. So I was teaching K through 5, so those are such a real range of ages, kindergarten through, 5th grade, 6th grade, then they're, you can kind of have a conversation with them. I was doing essentially like 6 sets a day.
And you're thinking, hey, I think the program went pretty good the last show.
Good crowd.
You're gonna have me back. Yeah.
And then you're getting closer to 3:00, check spot, and you're like, I'm just losing. I'm going to do a Q&A and get out of here.
That's right.
Anybody got anything?
Mail it in with the little wheels on the bus.
Do you still identify, like, when you see the West Virginia strike and stuff like that?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I'm also from a family of teachers. My mom and dad, and even my grandparents were teachers. So I think it is in the DNA to pay attention to that type of stuff and labor stuff.
Right.
My parents are pretty progressive, so I think that's also ingrained in me. So yeah, the West Virginia thing, I have been paying pretty close attention.
I saw today where they were saying, like, this is the new blue collar. When you think about it, teachers, their union are not fighting for anything that beyond just livable in West Virginia, hopefully come close to a livable wage. And when you look it over, you're like, how did that happen? Where did we get to that point?
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry.
It's weird because you think about, you're talking both of the major parties put all of this emphasis on family, on kids, on taking care. And it's crazy that stuff we still have to fight for is the people who are teaching our kids. We're like, let's cut some corners on that. We can definitely. It's nuts that has to be fought for.
Yeah, and I can relate. I was just saying to my wife last night that, like, when I taught, I had 3 or 4 jobs. I mean, one of them was comedy, so jobs in quotes, because I was just starting out and, probably barely getting paid. But when I started, I was teaching. I was doing like piano lessons on the side. I was working at a supermarket, like my college job that had kind of just held over and was still like a good gig,
right.
And that also paid benefits, and I think at the time paid whatever it was, like $13-14 an hour. So I was like, all right, I'll hold on to that a couple nights a week. So yeah, and that's definitely not unusual even today, especially today for teachers. I mean, like you hear some of these interviews where the minimum they're working 2 and as many 3 or 4 jobs.
It's stunning. It's stunning that we got to that point, but there can become bonuses for carrying a gun. So we're going to,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So that's good.
Yeah. Or you can sell the gun and,
little extra money there.
Yeah.
Were you shocked with that one? Were you shocked when you heard that would even come up of arming teachers?
The teachers? I mean, can you be shocked by anything these days? So I wasn't shocked, but I mean, just knowing the people that I taught with, there's no way that would ever get through, that teachers would even, the type of people that gravitate to become teachers aren't like, oh, we get to carry guns? That's not
maybe the gym teacher. I'll do it. I'll carry a gun.
There were some.
And that's always the last dude you want.
Yeah.
Carrying a gun would probably be any gym teacher I've ever had.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. They do seem the least connected to the school.
Yeah.
Don't they?
To humanity.
They
really.
do, yeah. And like, usually very hot-headed.
Yes.
Very hot-headed.
Yeah, quick-tempered. You don't want them carrying.
Ted did a great web series about teaching that was just so funny. So funny. And Chris, you want to do some plugs?
Oh, sure. Ted Alexandro's in studio. Ted's new special, Senior Class of Earth, is coming out soon, and Ted's performing with Jim Gaffigan on Jim's Fixer Upper Tour, which is happening all over the United States, Canada, and Europe. And go to tedalexandro.com for all of Ted's dates.
And you got a clip that we can play off this special.
I do have a clip. As I mentioned my wife just before I got married in October. So I have a bit about the two of us. She's younger than I am by about 17 years.
Is that right?
Yeah. So this bit is about that. She is in her very early 30s, and I am in my late 40s. They say a woman's sexual prime is her 30s, so she is in her sexual prime. And I am not. I'm past my prime. Like, do you remember when Shaq played for the Celtics? That's me. He didn't look like himself anymore. He had a hard time getting up and down the court. Some nights he was really an embarrassment. And I bet there were nights where Shaq's teammates got very angry at Shaq and said, like, Shaq, do you even want to play with us? Do you have any passion for the game anymore? Do you care? And I'm sure Shaq was like, no, guys, it's not that at all. I love you. It's just that I'm a little older now. It takes me a little longer to warm up. Maybe if you could just fucking be a little patient. Shaq probably said to them. And I just think it was very unfair of Shaq's teammates to treat him like that. He was a legend. He had done a lot in the game. He deserved better. And then if you look back, Shaq had some really good games for the Celtics. Not every game, but on some nights he looked like the Shaq of old, and I just wish his teammates could have appreciated those nights instead of harping on the nights that he had difficulty performing. I feel for Shaq is what I'm trying to say.
That's from Senior Class of Earth. We'll let you know when what platform it's going to come out on. Here's what I love about Ted. That delivery does not even sound like any other comedian's delivery. It doesn't sound like I don't know, like an entertainer, like somebody who's trying to throw those darts. It's so conversational that if the content wasn't funny, you'd be just listening to a speaker. Did it take you a while to find that your own voice? It's so uniquely you.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, for a while I think I was just a speaker. Yeah, like it's interesting because over the course of 25 years, like I have evolved. Like when I look back, I was very jokey and very written. Everything was kind of like straight out of the notebook to the stage verbatim. And then I think as years went by and I worked with different people and you watch people, you talk about how they work. Then I started to kind of go on stage with ideas and talk through them. And so I would have like kind of the bullet points of things that I knew I could land on. But yeah, I think so now it has evolved and I think the conversational nature evolved by way of talking through things and recording sets and seeing like, okay, that line worked, we'll keep that, and building things a little more organically.
But you'll still go out on a Tuesday or Wednesday, have an idea and not exactly go there to kill. You're just like, I'm trying to find this out.
Yeah.
There's a bravery to that. I don't care what anyone says. There's a bravery not just a minute into that, just not to drop out and do something that works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and especially even more so now, like the gigs that I do with Gaffigan,
right?
I do feel a responsibility to do well, if not kill.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to drop in new ideas in front of thousands of people as opposed to like 100 at a club or whatever. So yeah, you things that you never thought you would do, like when you were younger, for instance, like being prepared to bomb on a Tuesday or Wednesday, and I don't even know if that's the right way of phrasing it, but being okay with struggling, and I think like kind of what we were saying before is an important thing that I learned over time. The audience takes their cue from you, so if they see panic, if they see in some way that you're bailing. Then they'll feel that. But if they feel like you're okay with sitting with something and exploring, they feel that too.
I find that absolutely fascinating because you're thinking, here is something that's, driven from an audio sense, but then a visual, and then this other sense that's out there of just this perception of, is this working or not? Like when you could tell that a pilot is confident enough if the whole plane is on fire, he doesn't bother him.
Yeah.
That can't happen right away. You know what I mean? That's had to be a guy who's been in some places and go, oh, I'm the dude that can pull this off. And you can see it in a doctor, but to do that in front of other people while they're looking at you, it's got to take a long, long time to get to that spot.
Yeah, and I think it also speaks to what you said earlier. Like, if your intent is, it depends on where you're coming from. Like if you're coming from a real need to kill and a need to be affirmed night after night, which, we all have to varying degrees, then you're going to kind of act accordingly. But if you're coming from a place of like, how do I create something meaningful to me? How do I explore, make myself vulnerable? How do I surprise myself on stage too? That's another thing. It's like you have to open, I think you have to open yourself up to surprises. Otherwise it's just this verbatim rote thing,
right?
Which to me, gets boring. So you have to be willing. And again, I think the crowd, if nothing else, they sometimes will appreciate that, like, this rhythm doesn't feel, because you, like, when you hear that rhythm of here's this joke and here now I'm clearly setting something up, and you listen with that of like almost figuring out like, well, okay, where's this going? But when someone's just like talking something through, your brain listens differently,
I think if you even go back and listen or watch some of the Bill Hicks stuff, you'll be surprised that he's not killing all the time, because he's like, I always think of coming from a higher place. Like he's almost there to educate people or wake people up, and he's not trying to destroy the whole time that he's on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a value in that. Yeah, because there's like I think it's more human, you know, because that's life. Life is trying to figure things out, thinking, you know. So if to watch genuine thinking on stage, that's why like someone like Chappelle is always interesting to watch.
It's unbelievable
because he's genuinely thinking on stage, you know,
Yeah.
and does it in such an artful way, in such a seamless way. You know, that is always compelling, whether the joke lands or not. And I think Hicks was the same way.
Who were the big guys in town when you started? Who was the New York comics that?
It was Attell, Louis, Todd Barry, Judy Gold, Janine Garofalo.
All people still doing it.
Yeah.
In New York clubs, all still doing it.
Yeah.
I saw Janine just the other night, and it was so interesting because she came out with some notes and went like, let's see if this, happens. And I'm watching it and I'm like, man, I wonder if the audience even gets this on the level that they should be. You know what I mean? Because that's one of the real people who changed comedy.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
I agree 100%. She's someone that every time I watch Janine, I feel like I'm watching a legend who is underappreciated.
By herself even.
Yeah.
She doesn't know
Oh, yeah.
it.
No, she's very self-effacing. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. She did change things. And I think because of like some of the political stuff she got into, she suffered a lot from the business and she was kind of blacklisted, you know? But her voice is so singular. And what you said about not seeing any of the artifice, you know, like she's just talking up there.
Right.
So that sometimes people aren't aware of how.
But you think some of the political stuff actually scorched her a little bit, like
100%. Yeah. Around the time of Bush and
the war and
the war, they were going after like the Dixie Chicks and especially women, you know.
Right.
So it makes it a much easier target for the testosterone-driven masses to be like, you know, shut this.
And now even Trump says he was against that war. You know what I mean? And no one goes, hey, do we go back and apologize to the Dixie Chicks or, you know, or Janine? But no, we don't do that.
And again, like who it lingers with is interesting, right? Because Janine or the Dixie Chicks suffered for that. But someone like Michael Moore, who I think at the Academy Awards came out and said something like, but it didn't like end his career. It was just another footnote of, you know.
This is fascinating because I hadn't really thought of it that way. Because if you even go back to everybody who was against the Vietnam War, it's still Jane Fonda carrying it. And people will bring up the Jane Fonda thing. And I'm like, well, first of all, you're 25. You know what I mean? You have no idea. And there were plenty of people against that
I thought
war.
we all kind of agreed that war was not a good thing. I mean, and now with history, now don't we all step back and go, hey, didn't she have a point there?
Yeah.
And so we go, yeah, remember, she's a traitor.
Yeah.
They're like, no, I don't.
Yeah, it's the power of the media message, right? Like once that's out there, that's the way someone's perceived.
It does stay, doesn't it? It's really weird. Although I got to say, it's a game changer now with Trump because it's every day, and some of that stuff no longer sticks. You know what I mean? And he's kind of even figured out a way of, oh, they're looking at this, I'll do something outrageous over here right now. And you know, we've got 3 news stations on right now, and it's mind-boggling that it's 24 hours a day about one dude. You know, one dude.
Yeah. I mean, I guess he's figured out, you know, that, like you said, nothing does stick. And in fact, the people that elected him, that's his appeal.
Right. Yeah.
You know, like how outrageous can he be? How like, you know, non-traditional.
Yeah.
You know,
Nick DiPaolo always tells me that because Nick has always hated the media. So he's like, this was like a dream for him. But in the meantime, are the lights back on in Puerto Rico? Because I haven't seen a goddamn story in so long.
Yeah.
And you don't think they've got 10 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day just to tell us one little piece of Puerto Rico? Did the lights come back on?
Yeah.
Is the water working? Is the schools back on? We never find out because, you know, the circus is in town.
Yeah, the conversation is always being controlled, and there's always a distraction, and you know what I mean? One thing will seem like the most important thing until something rattles over here, and then we all rush to that.
And it's weird. It's tough to turn off. A lot of times at night, I'll go, why am I watching the news? It's fucking 9:45.
Yeah.
Why do I have to know? I never did that in my life.
Yeah, and it's just today's episode. Anyway.
Yeah.
You don't, if you miss one, you can pick right up tomorrow. So, but I think what's interesting is the things that we're talking about, like Puerto Rico, the teacher strike. I mean, these are the things these are people's lives, like that's really newsworthy.
Right.
So much of this other stuff is not, so that, like when you think about elections and stuff and what people campaign on.
Yeah.
And Trump did campaign on a lot of these types of things of like the middle class and the working people. And,
right.
So it's like, how much has he weighed in on the teacher strike, and it's supposed to be catching on in other states now. Oklahoma's talking about it. So like, to me, like those like that's all I think should be on the news, really.
Right. Not so much personality.
Political theater. Yeah.
Yeah. Just like, let's find the actual things that are going on. Always so great to see you. It's been too long. We got to do this
see you guys.
more often.
For sure.
Such a funny guy. I'm looking forward to the special. Looks great, by the way. I just saw the clip of it. I love the look of that in that room. Fantastic.
Yeah. We went for something a little different, a little more intimate. My director, Matthew L. Weiss, I have to mention him. He did a great job.
Great.
So thanks.
Ted Alexandro's been in studio. Ted's new special, Senior Class of Earth, is coming out soon. Ted's performing with Jim Gaffigan on Jim's Fixer Upper Tour, which is happening all over the United States, Canada, and Europe. TedAlexandro.com for all of Ted's dates.
And Jeannie is doing well?
Jeannie's doing real well. Just saw her in D.C. She was along for the tour, and she's doing great.
Pass along our best to her, because I'm crazy about her. And,
sure will.
All right, that's it for us. Thank you so much. See you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!